if I've hit the buttons correctly, in just a moment, they will be able to see us and hear us. Nope, I still see Gabe. Come on, Twitch. There we go. Hey everybody, welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. My name is Casey. Today we're going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We are going to be working our way into a new area in our community campaign. I have a couple of new players and characters here with me this morning, and we'll be introducing them in just a second. If you haven't joined us before, welcome to 20 Sides. If you like what you see us doing, please feel free to swing by the Discord and come hang out. That's where we do our recruiting for our community campaign. And we've actually got, I think, 2 new players that'll be starting off with us this morning, and 2 more new characters for a total of 4 new characters starting off. So Tolgorn will be doing a little bit of heavy lifting as the experienced character. But, you know, I'm not known to kill characters, so it'll be fine. There we go. So, as we start off this morning, we have 5 characters that have gathered in the well-worn and often destroyed Stumbling Ogre Inn. The inn has seen some rough times, fire elementals, ghosts, cultists, explosions, all sorts of stuff, but it is tradition to start adventuring from the inn. So, a table has been laid out and set. Abe Gundegroot has provided drinks and a meal, and the party has gathered to discuss a request from a pair of elven nobility that run the Fey Queen's Wood Stop. The Fey Queen's Wood Stop is about 2 days' travel to the north, and is where the party can go to receive a payout of 100 gold pieces each for successfully dealing with a bog, slime pond, a place where slimes have started to breed. They don't really give it a better description than that. It's just kind of a nasty spot that got stuck as the waters from the Black Dragon's lair expansion receded. You know, as everything was sort of draining away, this one stubborn spot held on, a little too marshy, a little too nasty, and now there are slimes breeding in there. The elves would like you to take care of that, please, since they seem to blame a lot of the troubles of the Gnarley Forest has been experiencing recently on the human nobility and lands, and on Hommlet in particular, letting that Temple of Elemental Evil get out of control 10 years ago, spring back up again now, all these dragons that you've unleashed on us. You know, time to clean up your mess, but we'll pay you a little bit as you do it. Sitting or standing around the table, we'll find out in just a moment, are the assortment of players and characters we have here. What we'll do is we will have our experienced character and player start us off. So Tolgorn, I'll ask for an introduction there. I think Abe would probably be coming up and saying, Tolgorn will take care of you. You know, just kind of make your own way, but you can feel free to follow his lead. And as he's kind of introducing you, Tolgorn, what would you be looking like as you're standing there now? And if you could introduce your character, what they might look like as you're at the table, and also give us a class concept there.
Tolgorn Arno, and I'm Jeff, of course, playing Tolgorn. Tolgorn is a barbarian from the icy north, brother of Thorwald Arno, hero of Hommlet, dragon slayer extraordinaire. We just recently met for the first time. He, of course, was sold into, I wouldn't call it slavery so much as service. And then the parents had me quite a ways after that. I am Very tall, very muscular. Um, Not the brightest crayon in the box, but I do have a very large axe that I like to swing, and a very boisterous laugh. And I will be assisting any of you new adventurers and would say welcome.
Abe's kind of standing beside you. There we go. That's exactly what we want to see. Build up the confidence. Sit down, eat yourself a meal, and we'll have a good one. Now, as for the rest of you, I know I recognize you from around town and from staying, but maybe it'd be good to play a little game here. What we'll want to do is tell three things that are true about yourself, and then one that's just absolute malarkey. And if I can pick out the one that's malarkey, breakfast is on me. It's a little twist on what we usually do for the Shadow of Absalom game here, but I think that'll work out for you. Now, you, and he points to Swidgen. I think I've seen you around town a few times before, but you always look a little, you know, duck in your head. What's going on with you there?
Who, me? No. You can't recognize me. I am the dragon's shadow. For only those who stalk the alleyways at night have seen my face. And they've not lived to tell the tale.
Yep, takes all kinds. Gonna hope that was the malarkey, and maybe a couple other things about yourself there, Swidgen?
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Ah, yep. Okay, getting hard to pick out which one's gonna be the malarkey. Two more for you, buddy?
They like cranberries.
Ah, cranberries. Good, good. I don't know that I've served you any cranberries to check, but I could make an educated guess. And for the last one,
I have a hard time thinking of more than 3 things at a time.
I believe that so much, though. Ah, I'm gonna go with the terror that flaps in the night as malarkey.
Wrong!
Oh, all right.
I
Well,
hate cranberries.
cranberry. Well, we'll make sure there's no cranberries in the scones. But breakfast is on me. Now for you others, I know your names, of course, Gareth, Orla, Berrig. Would either of you like to go next?
Of course, I'd be happy to, sir.
Thank you, Gareth. Three, facts about yourselves, and then one whopper. And let's see if we can figure out which is which.
Hmm. Well, like many citizens who grew up in this area, I was very disturbed by what happened in the recent conflicts, and I felt that I should, in some way, find a way to help others. Um,
I mean, that seems
I
honest.
I don't have much experience in the way of fighting, but I'm eager to learn.
You look like a
And
martial man, though.
lastly, let's see. I've been known to often drink to excess when visiting such a place as this.
Hmm. As a bartender, I do enjoy a man that drinks to excess, but and a local. That was the first part. So let's see here. Local, not very experienced in martial affairs. You've got the look, though. Drinking to excess, you do seem a bit stern. Drinking to excess, that's gotten a few of your build in trouble here over the years. I remember my father talking about all the troubles the nobility had with one particular knight that drank to excess. I'm going to say that's the false one. You are not a drinker.
By Cuthbert's cudgel, you have me, sir.
Ha! Excellent. Well then, the meal is well and reasonably priced, but I will expect it paid. Now then, Orla, Berrig, how about the two of you? Who would like to go next?
I can go.
Excellent, Berrig. And if you could just move that swingy thing.
Yeah. So I've spent the first thing that I spent a lot of time with a giant,
Mhm.
just one. Um, I've also spent like a week pretending to be a rug. Um, what
This is going to be
else?
tricky with you goblinoid folk.
Uh, I hmm, I'm not very good with people. I prefer my own kind, but I need the money, so I thought I would give this a try. And well, I really like cranberries too.
So, spent considerable time with a giant. And I could see that. We've had trouble with giants, and I know your folk were working with them for a time before everything was resolved. Let's see here. You like cranberries. I really don't understand how someone could not, but so let's see here. Spent a week as a rug. I That seems like a long time. I'm going to have to say you did not spend a week as a rug.
You're right. It was only 2 days. I'm
Still
not very
two
good at
days.
lying.
That's impressive. Though I must commend, even if you feel yourself to be having difficulty with people, you're doing quite well here. Well done. Uh,
Ed, hold on. Did you say that you killed a dragon?
Tolgorn, I think that was you. But I think that was your
No, that
brother,
was my
wasn't it?
brother.
Yes.
Tolgorn's brother.
Oh, okay.
And I think maybe he's killed two now.
Wow.
Don't worry, I'm not offended.
And
Well,
that
they were black dragons.
Curse of the marshlands.
now then, Orla, I think, is just the last one we have here. If you wouldn't mind rounding out our breakfast, 3 truths and 1 whopper for you.
Hi, I'm Orla. So I'm a forest gnome. So I'm pretty small here. I'm just a little bit over 3 feet tall. And so my father is a legendary cobbler back at home. And
That's reasonable.
but I worked as a housekeeper. And I learned to bake delicious cakes. I can even do cranberry, or I can do not cranberry if that's the way we want to go. And
That one
those are
sounds
my
delicious.
those are my details.
Okay, so let's see here. Father is a shoemaker. You are a housekeeper. You know how to bake cakes. Oh, wait. Where's my 4th? Or was there a detail in there that I missed?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you all that I was a forest gnome.
Oh, the forest gnome. Let's see here. Well, that sort of checks out, I think. Yes, okay, so forest gnome, shoemaker, bake delicious cakes with or without cranberries, housekeeper.
Do you have any cakes with you?
I'm going to go that the cranberries just seems very convenient a topic for the moment. I think the cakes are a lie. You do not know how to cook delicious cakes with or without cranberries.
I am the worst baker. Do not ask me to bake a cake.
Excellent. Well, then, I will expect payment for you for breakfast. Reasonable fees, of course. But I hope you enjoy your travels together. Now, then, I'll leave you to it. There is the posting. I've registered that you'll be taking that on, so no one else will be making the attempt until time has passed or you have failed. Uh, uh, Alex appreciates the is a forest gnome truth. Well done. So, as we move forward, is there anything else that the party would like to do or take care of while in Hommlet? I know I think Orla might have requested that we visit the church, though I may be crossing my eyes here because that was last night and I've forgotten everything that happened more than 15 minutes ago. Things that'll be happening in Hommlet. Who would like to do what before you head out?
Well, to the new adventurers here, we do have a kind of ritual when we're leaving Hommlet that we normally go and visit the donkey Odie, and give him a little food, and you will feel that your life has been changed by him.
Changed how?
I will let you experience it for yourself.
I see. Well, it was actually, pardon me, I was the one who had suggested perhaps we stop by the church because, again, as actually I told you, heard me tell the barkeep, I spent most of my early life in service to an abbey, so I'm somewhat new at fighting. Although I've tried to keep myself fit, but I think we could maybe ask around. Perhaps, Ogorn, you've had experience fighting such creatures that we hear may be residing in the forest. But for myself, at least, I'm not sure what kind of tactics we should be pursuing.
I've never seen a slime or an ooze.
Insight check. No, I'm only kidding.
So
I've
I
seen my
think
share
I think the places that
criminal scum.
some folks. Oops, sorry, switch and say that again.
I've not seen slimes or oozes, but I've seen my share of criminal scum.
What kind of criminal scum have you found yourself fighting around Hommlet, Dragon Shadow?
Pickpockets mostly.
Pickpockets. Stealing from those who can least afford it.
And I think like Lot and Wes, the general store owners, were like walking in, heard that, and like started whistling and turned around, and started walking out. But in the meanwhile, as the party sort of heads out of the tavern and sort of looks to the left, looks to the right, they can see off to the right, a little ways down southish, I believe, would be where the stall and pen for Odie the donkey and a small shrine to Farlongen sits. Off to the left, a little bit north and west, I think, is where the more traditional temple to St. Cuthbert sits on a small rise. Which way did we want to head first? Or are we splitting the party already?
I'm happy to
Let's
go
go
along
see-
with the group. Go ahead, Grimlock.
Let's go ahead and see the donkey, and then we will go to the Church of St. Cuthbert.
Sure. You
Very
head
good.
down. Good.
Just so I'm clear, we're feeding the donkey and not eating it, right?
That is correct. There is, if it's still there, there's a fake donkey. You can feed it too, but it won't be the same experience. Make sure you feed the correct donkey.
But again, I'm not eating it.
The fake donkey you can eat if you want to.
Oh, excellent.
I think you're like walking up to the pen at this point, and you hear the fake donkey saying, "No, no, 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 no." So what you see is a small enclosure for farm animals. Inside is a donkey. That particular donkey looks a little older, a little gray in the muzzle, a little, tufty on the fur. A slightly younger donkey, again, looks like a donkey. Both look like happy little donkeys. And then 3 kobolds in a trench coat that are sort of pretending to be a donkey. Best way to describe it. They're just kind of dressed up like a donkey. One's holding the front, one's holding the tail at the back, the other one's just holding up this part in the middle. And as they move around the pen, they're kind of tidying up the place. So they seem to be doing work. But 3 kobolds are pretending to be a donkey in this pen. As you walk up, there's a little box that's got one of those little turny bits on it that you could kind of drop a coin in the box, turn a bit, get a handful of donkey feed. There's a small temple of Farlongen. That temple's got a couple of little objects sort of stacked up and little notes as to where they could be found and which way to travel if you were curious about one of those objects. Like this seashell is from the east coast, go left. This rock is from the North Forest, go right. That sort of stuff. I'll turn it back over to the party. What y'all doing?
I'm going to go ahead and put a coin in and get some feed and give Odie a handful of oats.
Sure. You go ahead and go to give Odie a handful of oats. I'm going to add a little spin on this one. Could I get an animal handling check to get the feed to Odie? Because the 3 donkeys are hungry this morning. And so let's check it out here. 12 animal handling. It gets around. So yes, we'll get that to qualify. You got at least some of the feed to Odie the donkey. And as such, please note that you have a reroll. Sorry, you have You have inspiration. You can declare ahead of time that you would like to use inspiration on the roll, and you will get advantage on any one roll.
So Togert, that's the one that we can't eat?
Eat the feed if you're hungry. I have some rations. I could give you a ration. Please don't eat the donkey.
Okay.
Yeah, don't eat the donkeys.
Is there any tack here?
Is there any tack, like riding equipment? No. Just the donkeys, the setup over there. Any tack would be in the general store, which is a little further ways away.
Is there like a lead of any kind?
I don't believe so. I believe these are free-range donkeys.
Oh. Maybe the general store has a lead.
General stores would have leads.
All right,
Garrett's
I'll be right back.
Garrett's going to offer to give Orla a hand up to the fence so she can reach the feed, and if she wants to feed the donkey.
I say, Orla's going to say, hey, hang on a minute. Hold on. What are they playing at? She's looking at the guys who are pretending to be a donkey.
Sure.
That's a good question.
So 3 little kobolds, so kind of like dragon-like humanoids, very tiny. A little rat dragon dog thing hybrid, pretend to be donkeys. Like the 3 of them just look over at you, like peek out from underneath their little flap of cloth there and like, oh, we're just donkeys. Drop it back down.
I think Orla would try to feed the donkey then.
Sure.
The real one.
Yeah. So you could I get an animal handling check from you, please?
Can I help her?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Orla's got this one down. So deliver to the 2 real donkeys, no trouble, favoring as you choose. And you do get inspiration. You may use that for advantage on any roll. You just have to declare it ahead of time. Anybody else playing with the donkeys?
Swidgen will turn the crank twice, get a handful of each, or 2 handfuls of grain, that is, and feed both donkeys.
Okay, you go to hand out both donkeys. Could I get an animal handling check for you, please?
Sure. As he feeds the imposter, he'll lean in close. My friends, if you wish to maintain your secret identity, you must stop showing your face. Pro tip.
Okay. You go to feed 2 of the donkeys. The 3rd one looks up over at you and it was the wrong one that you were talking to. Like, got it!
So Gareth says, I suppose I should also honor this tradition. He goes up to feed the real donkey. He kind of gives the hairy eyeball to the fake donkey.
You got it. Could I get an animal handling check, please?
See if we can do that.
And Swidgen also picks up the inspiration. Gareth, though, Gareth, you go to drop the coin in, and the coin doesn't quite go in. The box is full. So as you go to drop it in, you just hear, "Box is full!" And then the 3 kobolds just throw the disguise up in the air, run over to the box, just take the box, the little bit of feed you were about to get, they just swarm it, take the coins out, run it over, bink, 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 drop it into the little thing. It's just absolute mayhem as they're just running around and just doing their job, but causing chaos. And you're like, one pellet you managed to hang on to.
Sorry, Don Quixote.
He just like looks up at you like, what you gonna do? All right, so I think Tolgorn, Orla, Gareth has not got the inspiration, but Swidgen did. Barrig, you're still hungrily eyeing some of the donkey, I think. What are you doing over there?
Can I go to the general store and see if they will sell me something that I can lead the young pony along with us?
I mean, that would be stealing.
My friend Tolgort said that I could take it.
And like
No.
Lot and West like look out like over towards you, Tolgor, and like, you know, one head then the other. Lot and Wes are now probably in their 30s, humans. It's a little bit tricky to say. Are they lovers? Are they brother and sister? They're always together. They run the shop, and you're just like, I'm not getting into that anime. But as they're sort of like looking over at you, like, Tolgorn?
No. I said that he could eat the kobolds.
Don't eat the kobolds. Don't eat the kobolds. They look
Why
back
would
at
you eat a kobold?
What?
Why would you eat a donkey?
It's good meat.
Why would you allow kobolds to masquerade as a donkey?
Because it keeps them out of trouble.
Makes sense.
I mean, you give them a job and they do their job. We were having trouble a while back with somebody borrowing funds from the, you know, bin, so now they take care of depositing it, and they don't look at all guilty, but they definitely do. So now they, you know, I mean, if you wanted to get rid of the kobolds, I guess that'd be okay. Wes, that'd be okay? Yeah, that'd be okay a lot.
Oh, wait, Wes, weren't you guys the ones that were taking the money from the box?
No! Whew, man, memory plays tricks on you, huh? Nah, that was... We were protecting it from the people who were taking it. And then the kobolds now do that. Hoarding instincts. Yeah. Okay. So
And doesn't this young donkey belong to you?
sort of. I mean, when Odie went missing and we had a substitute Odie, we might have provided the substitute Odie, but I mean, it's for the people. Odie belongs to all.
So, Barrig, why do you want to take this donkey with us?
They said 2 days. We could get hungry on the way.
We could sell you. We've got rations.
But there's nothing like fresh meat.
We've got fresh meat. You want fresh meat?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, sure. I mean, okay, that's a little less and there's like turkey, cow, duck, deer,
Duck, please.
duck, ooh, duck.
I don't think I've tried duck before.
It's a little greasy. It's self-oiling.
I hear that it can be quite foul.
Oh. Too early to deploy pun penalties. And so, at the general store, Lot and Wes set you up with any other equipment you need, along with some fresh food. And then I think there was mention of stopping up to the church or the temple. Any other places we want to stop before we hit the temple? So, Church St. Cuthbert, one of the older buildings, still standing in the area, quite nice and quite stout. However, I believe the upper clergy are currently occupied doing things off at places. So it's some of the acolytes who come down and say hello to you. Yes, absolutely. What can we do for you today? We offer many services to the adventurers of Hommlet. None of you look injured, so is it anything urgent? And they're sort of like, giving you the, you walked into the nurse's office kind of thing. Are you bleeding from anywhere?
We apologize for the intrusion, brother. We are here first in seek of counsel and possibly of aid as well. You might have heard that we've been asked to go along the northern road, the new high road, through the gnarly wood, and we mean to stop at the wood stop. But we understand there could be dangers there, and unlike Master Tolgorn here, many of us, are including myself, don't have much experience in adventuring. So first, we thought to ask. Perhaps the church has heard what kind of tactics an adventuring party might employ against slimes and oozes. And second, if the church would be willing to offer any aid, perhaps in healing, because as you can see, we don't have many healers among our party. And of course, I would do everything to repay whatever debt we might owe the church in return for such aid.
Oh, well, we can certainly look into it. We have several scrolls and books we can reference and other adventurers we can ask. And so, what I'll ask the party to do is I will ask somebody to be in charge of rolling me a history check, probably with advantage because the rest of the party will help. Somebody give me a investigation check, probably with advantage because the rest of the party will help. And then someone give me an insight check. Probably without advantage because this will be the one that's, how good's the information that you're finding. So who would like to be in charge of the history check?
History is not really Garrett's strong point, so if someone else has better
Sure.
I can do
background
it.
there.
You got it? So Orla, you start taking the lead as they start pulling out scrolls and references, and can I get a history check with advantage? Which I think in D&D Beyond is either hold shift or hold art. Oh, there you go. 16, nice and good. So you found a couple of references in there in the histories and the books to slimes and oozes and things like that. Primarily, the things that you are learning there is they are able to squeeze through small spaces. Usually, when they're doing so, that little bit that's extended is not particularly vulnerable. It's like swacking at a tree branch. You got to go after the tree itself. The other bit that you find is they're usually not good to stab or slice. You really want to hit them with a stick. Bludgeoning is the way to go there. And from there, it's a lot of references to other things they can do. It seems like there's lots of different flavors of them. Some may have acid, some may have lightning, some may have necrotic energies, some may have hot or cold. But there's not a lot of detail there as to how to tell one from the other. That's kind of where the treatise trails off in that. Oh, and we've heard of all these things, but no real details there. Make sense? Cool. And then could I get the investigation from whoever would be in charge of that to talk to the other adventurers? Hey, Shubadorp. Schwarbadorp.
I think I could help with the insight check, but if someone else wants to try the investigation.
Orla's got nose in the books, so
I'm not really good with people, so I don't think I would be the one to do that.
no bard in the party. Swidgen, Tolgorn?
I could spot a lie on a tick's back at 500 yards.
Ah.
Hmm.
Is that an investigation?
Insight.
Okay, well, I can try the investigation. Then.
All right.
It was Garrett's idea, so
You got it. So Gareth asks around the acolytes and other adventurers that happen to be about.
and advantage, you said.
Yes, please. Oh, that's a good one. And then can I get that insight check as well? Swidgen or Tolgorn or Barrick, whoever would like to. Swidgen steps up and is like, "Yeah, they look like an honest sort." But the additional investigation that you come up with there is the slimes and the oozes. For them to be multiplying or for them to be growing in such a way, there is likely going to be a source of it. Um, there can be artifacts that would cause there to be a leak between the worlds, bringing those things to life. Or there are other creatures that could bring them in as well. The things to look for is the bodies of other animals, other victims in the area, and see how they have been affected. So as you get close to the area, pay careful attention to the remains of what has gone before you. You know,
Very helpful.
if you see a bunch of skeletons all sort of laid out around one big chest, that's probably the problem item. You know, the old trope. And they're sort of like, yeah, can't believe you fell for that one.
So, the area where the slime bog has formed, is it the same place or close to the same place as the guy from the Matricular Deep put that acid box?
No. So that is so Tolgorn references back to where some lye had been used to block up the hole of one of the dragon escapes that was near the farmstead. That is at least 3 or 4 days travel away from here, kind of the wrong direction. So not
Okay,
related to
so the Matricular Deep may not be the cause of this problem.
that. They have not been called out for it.
So it sounds like we need bludgeoning weapons. I guess my axe is not going to be very good at this, but I do have a staff that I can use. Do we need to stop and get weapons for anyone?
I have a mace, and I have some torches.
I'm not really good with bludgeoning weapons. I'm more of a stab with a dagger kind of guy.
I have a quarterstaff, and would my sling be considered a bludgeoning weapon?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's good.
Beric, perhaps you could learn to use a sling.
Not in 2 days, I don't think.
Maybe if Orla gave you a few tips.
Yeah, I could give you some tips. I'm down here. Hi. I'm down here.
You're pretty cute. Sure. I guess I could try to learn it while we're going out there.
All right. And so it sounds like the party picks up maybe a couple of clubs, quarterstaffs, and slings, all of which I believe are in the 1 copper range. So we won't worry too much about the tracking on that one. So club is a silver, quarterstaff is 2 silvers, and a sling is 1 silver. So sorry, 1 or 2 silvers for the fancy ones.
I'll cover all that.
Sounds good. And I believe the party had asked at one point about healing potions. So along with the conversation there at the St. Cuthbert, the acolytes are like, unfortunately, we can't give these away. But if you wish, what we can do is front you a potion, expecting a 75 gold donation on your safe return. They look a little uncomfortable to be like, yeah, we gotta charge you half again, but is that okay? Does anybody want one? I mean, you'd probably be fine.
I mean, Gareth he wants to take one at least for the party, for emergencies, and says, I'll make sure that that you get your funds returned to you.
Oh, of course. I mean, and boop, and they give you a little healing vial, 2d4 plus 2 hit points.
Tolgorn already has a healing potion, so
Okay, sounds good.
he doesn't need to buy another.
Awesome. And anything else before we head out for our first day on the road, traveling between Hommlet to the town of Tumblestone?
Orla's just gonna say, "Hey, they said something about those skeletons, kind of. Do you think if we saw something like that, we'd be able to tell what kind of what killed these guys? Like, would we see any burn marks or something like that?"
That's and kind of the couple of adventures that's exactly what you're looking for. You want to look at how they died. So if you see them with scorch marks on them, if they look like they've been crushed or dissolved, that's sort of what clues you in as to what's doing it. But if you see clean skeletons, like if it looks like they're clean, that's when you want to watch out for, like the artifact or like, the thing that's infecting them. Seeing how they died, really gives you a good insight into it. You got to just kind of learn by doing though. So keep your eyes open, learn from what you did, and someday you could be just like No Hand Huey over there.
Orla's gonna say, "Oh, thanks. That this place is real pretty. I mean, expensive, but pretty, real pretty."
What happened to his hands?
No Hands Huey, he was the one who convinced Byrne to try out the petting zoo for the griffin. No, I'm kidding. It's not a joke. Not a joke. It wasn't a joke. It's an anecdote, really. Story at best. Don't worry about it.
Well, let's get moving. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Sounds good. So as we set off for our first day's travel, I do need a volunteer to roll us a fateful D20. You would prefer to see a high number on this fateful D20. Low
I
numbers
got
mean
this one.
bad adventures. You got it. Tolgorn's diving in. High number D20.
That's the lowest high number that I could get.
That is a very low high number. So let's go ahead and slide our maps across here for a little bit. You should see the map reset. You should find yourselves on the southern side of what looks like a roadway heading north. And that's not the one I want. All right. So the party's been traveling for 3 or 4 hours at this point. It's getting to kind of that midday range. You got to set out good and early, moving at a good clip. You left behind the farmlands and the developed areas of Hommlet. You're now into the gnarly wood as it snakes its way along, staying to the south of the Temple of Elemental Evil, following the Immerds Run River or stream that's off to your left there. The Gnarley Forest is away to your right, and there's a pretty well packed down path where the Matricular Deep had used their magics as well as an adamantine tower to basically stamp out a road over the last year or so. That was kind of the way that they managed this in such a quick time. It's springtime now. Things are starting to defrost. The road's getting a little bit muddy and mucky. So it's not easy travel, but it's not too bad. As you're making your way along, you're keeping your head on a swivel, checking out everything as you're going along. But just up there, whichever ones of you would probably the most in touch with nature, I'm gonna guess this might be a Orla, possibly Berrig. Actually, Swidgen's also got a decent insight, I think, there. But you see what's probably a deadfall. So a tree on the left side of the road that rises up, looking a little. It's probably not going to last a winter or two, and then either a branch or a limb going across horizontally to another tree or limb over there, and it looks like it's set up to fall. Could be, bandits waiting to pull it down on you. Could be just a really dangerous kind of thing. But you've got a situation. That's still 30, 40 yards ahead. Seeing it, though, what does the party do?
Um, if I was going to attack you guys, I would set up something like that more, it would probably be more for like people with carts and stuff because they would have more stuff.
Hmm.
Not that I
Well,
would do that, but and I've never done that.
that's good to hear. Well, should we try to draw them out? Should we scout ahead? Perhaps those of us who are. I'm not so good at stealth myself, but perhaps someone could get closer and see if there is anyone laying in ambush.
Um, I could try, but I'm not very strong. Um, Mr. Thorwald, would you want to come with me?
No, no, Thorwald's my brother. I'm Tolgorn.
Oh,
But
sorry.
yes, yes.
So
He
confused.
has red hair. I have this strawberry blonde.
And he's the dragon killer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you killed the dragon. But anyways, should we just go like into the woods and try and have a look?
Let's do.
All right. After you.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you're kind of slipping into the woods off to the right-hand side and going to try and make your way up towards where that deadfall looks like it's set up there.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tolgorn's moving ahead with a 16 stealth. Barrig is a little louder coming behind at a 13. So they kind of head off there. The party doesn't see anything obviously wrong with what they're doing. They're not like, blowing trumpets as they go. But Gareth, Swidgen, and Orla, what are you doing as they start to move ahead at a little bit of a slower pace? Hanging out there and waiting, moving yourselves? What's up?
I recommend we continue so that any ne'er-do-wells do not suspect something. Let's continue at a leisurely pace, shall we?
Okay,
Yes.
perhaps Orla, you want to stay behind us. Sorry.
That sounds good. I'm going to come along.
Okay. Tolgorn and Barrig, each give me a quick perception check as you start to move forward. All right. Tolgorn, Barrig, you do not see anyone waiting around. So you don't see anyone waiting to spring the trap. But as you get a bit closer, ooh, that tree, I mean, that's hanging on by splinters. A good stiff breeze would probably bring that one down.
Well, it's fortunate that I have this very large axe.
You mean to block the road?
Have you never cut a tree before? If you cut it correctly, you can make it fall the way you want it to.
But it's okay. You can try.
So the party's making their way up, and give me an idea how far back you're stopping to it. So, if we're saying, there's a tree off to the left, tree off to the right, the road itself is probably about 30 feet across. So it's a fair-sized, limb slash trunk that's laid across up there. Now that you're close enough up, you can see that it was a old tree on the left that a taller tree had broken in the midpoint, kind of fallen over, and is now creating that set. You'd have to climb, and get up to there to see if there's any tool marks or signs that it was done on purpose. But at the moment, it's definitely precarious.
So what do you need? Athletics for me to go up there?
Sure, are you climbing up?
I'm gonna stay about 50 feet back.
Okay. Tolgorn, you're making your way up there, and you get your hands onto the tree. You probably know enough, do the rope around kind of tricks from there, or just climb up yourself. It's crumbling in your hands. Like every branch that you're like, I'm going to climb this one, it's just falling apart. You could get up there, but you're pretty sure you just being there is at risk. Are you going to continue the climb?
Do I have the sense that I could do anything from where I'm at to maybe chop on this a little bit? I have a hand axe as well as my great axe, so
Yeah,
uh,
you could bring it down.
yeah, I think that's what I would do. Try to bring it down safely and uh, divert it from being a hazard.
Sure. Most of the party's standing a little ways back. You start to, give the tree a couple of whacks and line it up the way you want it to fall. Then you kind of swing on the tree. That breaks loose as it starts to fall. Quick question for the rest of the party. Everybody at about that 50-foot back mark?
Yeah, I think we'd be staying well out of the way of where we think it's going to fall.
Sure. So it comes down, whomp, hits the path, but it's going to roll the way that Tolgorn had anticipated. So it'll be mostly off the path, and with a little effort, you can get there. But as it comes down and it hits the path, just like right where it was underneath, must have been churned up majorly because a spray of mud comes at you, Tolgorn, like just a wave, and coats you and the tree just head to foot in pretty foul mud. No,
Do I feel any damage from it or
no,
anything?
no damage. You're just like you watched it come. It hits you. Your eyes blink, and the little circles are there.
Are you all right, Tolgorn?
Yeah, I'll just go over here and wash in this river next to us.
Now, Berrig, I think you're still hanging out over by the trees on the right.
Yeah.
You can hear laughter. You, just super faint, like a little just chime of laughter. It's like I can't make my voice do a chime of laughter, but chime of laughter.
Do I hear the laughter as well?
I don't think you did. I think your ears are full of mud.
Can I move in that direction and see if I can spot who's doing the laughing?
Sure. Berg, you'd be going a little bit further into the trees. So I think at this point, Tolgorn's heading towards the water. Berg is heading into the forest. Gareth, Swidge, and Orla, you saw the tree come down, the wave of mud happen. It would take a little bit of pushing to get the tree kind of like off the road at this point, or the big limb of it. What are you doing, though?
Switching to move up and start moving the tree off the road.
I'll help him.
Okay, it's muddy work. There's no way to not get muddy doing this. The ground's pretty well saturated right here. Where it landed, the tree got coated in mud. So at best, you're just getting it on your hands and then shaking it off. Orla?
Could I just shoot a firebolt at this to get it out of the way?
Oh, so you could definitely use some firebolt to start to dry up some of the mud. The limb is too big for you to. Yes, eventually you could burn your way through it, but you'd be here all day. But you could definitely help out by drying out some of the mud where people need to stand and where that goes. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that. So I roll that, right?
You got it. You can go ahead and roll it. Yep.
Okay.
How well are we doing here?
Oh, yeah.
So you're like, all right, I'll dry the mud here. That way you can step in it, and you firebolt down at the ground, and you get to crack over. But that just kind of makes it worse. Now you just crunch through the top, and now it's dry mud stuck to your calf and wet mud underneath. Your shoe starts pulling. It's rough stuff now, but it was a good effort. Idea was there. So at this point, Tolgorn, you're starting to kind of rinse yourself off. You watch the mud going downstream. Swidgen and Gareth, you're working your way along. Orla's arguably helping. Barrig, you're just chasing these sounds of laughter, and it's just leading you deeper into the forest. Can I get a charisma saving throw from you, please?
19?
You hear the laughter, and you know they're laughing at you and your group here, and you kind of want to find them, but at the same time you're like, that's probably what they want me to do.
Okay, I will turn around and go back.
All right, you turn around and you're like, ooh, I'm deeper in the forest than I thought. Can I get a survival check from you, please? You're not sure which way back is.
I think I'd start to panic.
Okay.
I will pick a direction and just start running.
Okay. Uh, we'll
And do we
resolve.
notice Beric is missing?
That's
Do we
what I was
notice he's
about.
gone?
I was about to say. At this point, we'll start with Orla. Orla, can I get a perception check from you, please? Because you're the one who's at the moment got the most availability to look around. Orla has not noticed yet, so Gareth and Swidgen, you're kind of heads down, rolling. Tolgorn's working. Orla's concentrating on the mud. You know, it's a minute or 2 or 3 or 4, and then you're like, okay, take a break. Everybody look around. Tolgorn's got the mud mostly off. Gareth and Swidgen have got the tree mostly moved. Orla has baked some mud pies, which we learned earlier. Orla was not particularly good at baking, so, you know, it all comes together. But Beric is not to be found at the moment.
Can Orla look around, see if there's like a little animal or something that she can talk to?
Sure. Go ahead and give me. Let's call that one a survival check on just finding an animal.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah.
Chris says that you need to turn Percy up a little bit.
Oh, Percy. I think I might have him maxed, so that might be his mic running away from him. But I will check on that. Thank you for the heads up out there, chat. 1 second here. Yep, I got Percy maxed. So Percy, if you get a chance, keep an eye on that mic, and if you can throw yourself a little bit of gain on the Discord. But usually you're good until the mic runs away. And speaking of running away, survival check 9 is pretty good for a forest, and you do have the ability to speak to animals, I think. Do you need to see the animal, or can you just start talking in their language? What does the wording on the thing say?
It just says through sounds and gestures you can communicate simple ideas with smaller beasts.
Okay. So I'm going to say you just kind of start talking and you try some of the common things that'll be around. After a minute or two, like a squirrel just kind of looks around. And this is, a big chonky deep wood squirrel, big plumey tail, like mouth half full of an acorn, winter acorn, last one, finishing it out.
Oh, hi. Did you see somebody go that way or that way? Can you tell me? Point?
Yeah, big fellow went running off that way just a minute or two ago.
Thank you. I'm going to tell my party friends that Squirrel told me to go that way, and I kind of trust him because he took the nut out of his mouth, and I wouldn't have done that, honestly.
Looks like a very trustworthy squirrel. And so, yeah, they're kind of saying that, yeah, your friend went running that way. And let's find out which way that way is. Beric, if you would be so kind as to roll me a d4, you would prefer not to roll a 2. You have run directly east as deep into the forest as you could. So
That checks out.
You were like, I should turn back. You turned a whole 360 degrees and then started running. And so, yeah, the squirrel's like, you just legged it that way. And so, party.
Well, we should go look for him.
Yeah, Orla's going to be like, oh, hell, we got to go.
Okay. So, Beric, a quick question about your escape strategy. Are you just like running hell for leather, or are you like trying to sneak, or like what's your run technique? Do you Muppet your way through the forest?
No, he would be sneaking because he doesn't want to find anything that's bigger than him.
I mean, of course you are. Could I get a stealth check, please? You would like to roll low on this stealth check. You didn't roll low on the stealth check. So, what I would like from the party is each party member to roll me a survival check as you are trying to track Barrick. One of you would like to beat the 22 stealth that Barrick has posted up as a scared bugbear is launching themselves deep into the gnarly woods.
He is,
Could we be calling out? Like if we're yelling his name, that he would be able to hear us.
I would think that'd be a great idea, but Barrick is stealth.
I use guidance to try to help with
Sure.
the tracking. It's not going to help.
It's a little low. Some of you do have inspiration. So, several minutes later, you're now all a few hundred yards into the gnarly forest proper. Barrig is somewhere out ahead of you. The rest of the party has started calling out. The good news is, once you do start being like, Barrig, eventually you start to hear each other and you kind of consolidate and you find yourselves once more gathered, now the 5 of you, some 100 or so yards deep into the forest. Now the problem is, you have been following a fleeing bugbear that didn't know where he was going. So, I didn't hear anybody be like, we're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. Does anybody have any features or skills or reasons that you would know your way out more than Barrick did? Okay.
I would ask Garrus, Orla, I mean, you're the only one maybe here who has some abilities. You asked the squirrel to try and help us find Barrick. Maybe animals could help us find our way back to the road.
Yeah, I mean, I can see if there's an animal around.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a survival check. You would like to roll high on this particular one. Okay. So on this time, you're kind of like calling out. Squirrels want nothing to do with this particular party right now. There's a weird bugbear running around, a dragon thing, barbarian, paladin, and then forest gnome. So no squirrels turn up. But like you hear like a little like snort coming out from the set there, and like a little warthog, a warthog, kind of makes their way out and is like looking at you in the, well, I might charge at you, or I might not. Could I get an animal handling check from whoever would like to put forward we are not for charging at?
I can do it, or does anybody else want to try?
Whoever, like Warthog has just emerged. Whoever's going to be the one to be like, good Warthog.
I mean, I'll try it. I'll try it, I guess.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that tracks.
Not so much. So, coming barreling out at you is now a warthog that has been summoned from there. Let's do a quick little thing here. Do I have?
We're doing great.
Wild pig, boar. It's probably boar. There you are. Charge! Would everybody be so kind? Let's kind of group you up here a little bit to go ahead, click on your tokens, and then in D&D Beyond, click on that initiative button, and let's see if you get to react before the warthog does.
Well, before I roll initiative, I have a question.
Sure.
I was over at the river still washing, and I look up and there's no one there. Everyone's gone.
I apologize. I thought you were chasing off with them. If you are still at the
I
river,
thought so,
then
too.
yes, you are at the river and they're all gone.
Whoopsie daisy.
Well, we would have called out too. We just wouldn't have taken off without, yelling to Tolgorn, "Hey, we're going to look for Beric."
Okay, so Tolgorn,
Agreed.
were you staying at the river or were you coming out with them?
Well, I don't know that I would have heard them. You said that my ears were full of mud,
Your ears
and
were.
I'm next to the flowing water over here, so I don't know that I would have heard anything.
I find that to be
And
reasonable.
yeah, I think that I'll just I finish washing up and look up, and I don't see anyone anymore.
Sounds good. So what we've got at the moment is, 4 party adventurers in the woods facing off with a charging boar. We've got one still by the river, some yards away, and Gareth is fortunately the one who will get to react first when the boar just kind of like, nah, dude, lowers its head and starts to charge forward. Gareth, what are you doing?
I'm going to interpose myself between Orla and the boar.
Okay.
And hold an attack action when it gets within range if it charges.
Sure can.
Like, I don't know if I could try persuasion or intimidation to try to, yell at the boar, try to scare it off, keep it from charging.
So if you do want to try that, then you can't use your attack action, but that could work if you wanted to try it.
Probably better to hold the attack action given it's
got it.
charging at us.
All right. Gareth, attack action held. Swidgen, what are we up to?
I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering. I mean, I know I go later in the turn order, but if we both had the same thought to scare it away, could we combine our efforts to get advantage? Maybe, like I could give him advantage.
So Gareth is choked up on his weapon. He's intimidating, but not like shouting. He's getting ready to swing. Swidgen, if you want to try and look big, like that which flaps in the night. That's your call.
I was thinking I might use thaumaturgy. Make a big booming voice and move forward with holding my cape out wide.
Sure.
Flee in terror, beast. You do not wish to invoke my wrath.
A charging boar is like, I'm just going to knock this thing down, and it says you're going to need to intimidate better than a 17. So let me see, an intimidation better than a 17.
I just realized I have to roll intimidation. I'm terrible at this. Okay, does the booming voice help at all?
I don't feel that there's much you could say that holding your cape out, going booming voice is something other than intimidation. I mean...
There we go.
Nah, it wants to hit you.
All right. Well, he's moving forward as if he thinks it's a good idea, so...
All right. Orla, Gareth and Swidgen are trying to be hit by the boar first, but what are you doing?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, so I think I want to try to cast like a minor illusion.
Okay.
Could I make like the sounds of like a sexy other warthog like off in the distance to try to get the charging force attention?
Sure.
We're doing everything we can to save this boar.
You got it. So can we distract? Can we Bugs Bunny this boar and have a sexy lady boar? Let's see here. Sexy lady boar. We're gonna say that's a wisdom again. It wants to knock you people down. Does sexy lady boar distract it? You're gonna need to roll a persuasion higher than a 19. So, could I see a persuasion check, please? 13 will not do it, so in spite of the big flapping in the night and the sexy lady boar off, it's just like, nah, I'm going to knock these people down. I'm going to impress that sexy lady boar. Orla, anything else?
I don't know. What else can I do? I'm sorry, I don't know.
You've got, so that was an action. You've got movement you can do and any bonus actions that you happen to have, but I think movement's the really only real option left. You've got Swidgen in front, Gareth behind that, and you're behind Gareth. So the boar would have to
Uh,
get through 2 people to get to you.
I can't. I guess I'd just like to. I guess I don't know. I guess should I hide or should I just stay where I am?
So I think basically what Orla's doing is just like watching this unfold and just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna stay right here, I guess, because you're behind 2 people, so your positioning is good. Actual hiding would be another action, so that would be a stealth action. But I think you're as good as you'll be right now, which will then bring us to the boar. The boar is charging at the moment. Swidgen has leapt into the front, so boar is going to try and tusk Swidgen tusk attack, a 21 to hit.
Good lord. Yeah, that hits by a lot.
All right. That is going to do 5 points of slashing damage, and I am sorry, it is a charge. So you will also take another 1d6 damage. That's not how you type. So you'll take 2 on top of that, and I need a DC 11 strength saving throw, or it will knock you down and really impress that Borita. No, you do not fall down. It's like, I'll get you next time. Barrig, what might you be up to?
I am going to. I did say that we were going to practice on the road, right? I will huck a boomerang at this creature.
Huck a boomerang. Sure. 18 will hit a boar. 5 damage, and you do have a friend in combat, so 5 sneak attack. Right? Yeah, ranged, yeah. That's 10.
Guys, I brought supper.
And so the boar is like, it looks bad, but it's still like trying to get up and do something. Gareth, it didn't. Do you have a reach on your weapon?
It's a long sword.
Okay, so no, so just the normal 5 foot there. It never got close enough for you to hit it, because Swidgen decided to stop it with his face. In the meanwhile, Gareth, what might you be doing?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I didn't move. I don't think I moved that much, or not my full movement. Is it possible then I could move and then also attack melee?
So it's your turn again. Range? So you can so D&D 5e, you can move and attack. So you can step up and make your attack right now.
And I'm going to try to get here.
Absolutely.
Yep. I'll get an advantage on the attack.
We do not play flanking, but it is good to do that positioning.
All right, very good.
That's right, surrounded. Then it can't get away.
Then it can't get away. An 18 is going to hit, and you need to do 1 point of damage. So if you could do 1 point of damage, you did way more than 1. And so the boar falls, boomerang hucked into it. It dies thinking, boy, if only I could have, impressed that senorita. But no. You've got dinner, though. All this is going on. Tolgorn, I think you've finally kind of cleared yourself up. Let's come out, take a look around, and you can hear the sounds of boar squeals, roars, combat, etc. going on off in the distance there. It's probably a 5-10 minute, jaunt into the forest to get to where that's all coming from, but you're pretty sure they're kind of that way. What have you been doing out by the road there?
I probably was looking to see if I could see which direction they went in, and now that I can hear sounds, I'm probably going to be calling out to them. Maybe they can follow my voice to get back to the road.
I think that sounds reasonable. So with the carcass of a boar to their benefit, if they wish to bring along choice peats of that meat, you make your way back to the road, and you can, when you're ready, continue your way north. Is there anything else that the party is doing before getting back together and heading north? Gathering some boar meat, of course.
Switching, how badly are you hurt?
I am impenetrable, as you see blood pouring from the wound.
You took that like a champ, buddy.
Yeah. Yes.
That was
It did
brave
not
of
stand
you.
a chance.
It was brave of you to step forward and put yourself in harm's way, but we should act in unison. Let me help you.
Such is the path of a hero.
Well, the hero must live if you want to help others. Put an arm around him and trying to help him back, and maybe patch him up.
Sounds good.
Stop the bleeding at least.
All right. So is the party taking a short rest and deploying hit dice, or are they using magics, or is there some other thing being used to heal Swidgen at this point?
I have to skin the boar, so if you want to take a little rest, you look pretty hurt.
Sure.
Oh, looks can be deceiving, but yes, I'll wait for you to finish that. Right over here.
Okay. So as Swidgen waits and gets a short rest, the boar is skinned and prepared. Things are transported back out to the road. Swidgen and anybody else who needs to can roll a hit die to recover some hit points. And if anybody would regain anything on a short rest, they certainly would. That does put you a little bit behind. You'll have to, hustle it a little bit to get the rest of the way to Tumblestone here. So as we start looking forward to that hustle, could I get someone to roll me a fateful d20? Try to avoid a 1. You want a high number. 1 is not a high number. So who would like to roll our fateful d20 for the afternoon travel on the way to Tumblestone?
Not it.
You're all going to do it eventually.
I can roll.
Okie doke.
Let's see.
Bum.
Transfer over? I rolled it in.
Didn't see it yet. What did it come up as?
It came up as a 19.
19. That's a pretty good roll. So the rest of the afternoon passes fairly uneventfully. You're continuing to make your way through the gnarly wood there, river down. You've washed yourselves off. Everything's kind of dried up. And eventually you start to hear the roar of Tumblestone. Now, Tumblestone's a gnomish village. It is famous for having several water wheels that power stone tumblers, rock tumblers. So there's a constant just roar of rocks grating against rocks coming from that area. The townsfolk say, hey, you get used to it or you go deaf. And those are the choices that are presented to you as you make your way into town. Tumblestone has a nice little inn known as the Bracken Inn, and we'll flip over there for just a moment. The Bracken Inn does not have the people currently shown inside it. It's got you all. Alfred and Cutter are off doing cool stuff. Peanutty's being an adventurer. Brawlnera's in trouble. Mona's okay. Eldrick, I don't know. Caneth is okay. And Tolgorn's right there. But Heather, the innkeeper, is there. And as you roll in, she's like, not many folks bring their own dinner. But if you'd like, I can cook that up for you.
Could we sell it to you?
How fresh is it?
We killed it this morning.
Then sure. And she'll go over and inspect it. And give me a quick persuasion check. Low means coppers, high means silvers. High means silvers. 5 silvers she will offer you for that boar.
And a meal for me and my friends.
Do you mind if it's boar?
That's fine. That's why we brought it.
5 silvers, and we'll cook some of it up for you, but you're paying for your drinks. And the town of Tumblestone is known locally to be occupied by werebears. And there's a strict rule of no biting, but it's kind of a wink and a nudge, and, that's just what we tell people so they leave us alone kind of thing. but it's not. So there's kind of that going on. There's a gnomish woman, Tops, who is there as well. She runs um, the rock tumbler and is often trying to sell people lovely little trinkets made of stone. And as the party rolls in, aside from a good night's rest, is there anything that they would like to do or check in on?
I'd suggest we ask about if anybody's heard about any troubles with slimes or any other word from the wood stop.
And Heather sort of speaks up there, and she's got big mama bear energy because one, she's a big lady. Two, she wears kind of a bear headdress going on, and she says, "Well, yeah, the the elves up at the Woodstop were complaining about some slimes and said they were going to hire some folks from Hommlet. Is that you all? You've got the look of an adventuring party. Kind of the mismatched heights give it away."
That
That's
would be
correct.
us.
Excellent. Well, happy to have you here, and best of luck to you. Haven't had any trouble aroundabouts here, from what I have picked up. About a day north and about a half a day west. Across the river, we don't really end up that way much ourselves. Um, Going much north of here, you're really into elf territory, and we try to be respectful of that. So I wouldn't suggest much hunting while you're up that way.
Thank you for the advice. He looks at Briggs.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Okay. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm sorry.
No, it's just we'll have to be careful not to offend the elves. It sounds like while we're in their territory.
Yeah, you really want to walk as lightly as you can through there. They're not particularly happy about the roadway, but we live in the gnarly too, so we've got as much as a right to walk there as they do. Uh, that it was made by folks from the human kingdoms, drives them a little nuts, but hopefully they'll get over it. If we can make a good impression, I think that'll definitely help. And taking care of these slimes for them, good plan. Good plan. And Schwibendorp, yes, they were able to gather back up after dealing with a boar. All have made it to the inn. Heather gets you set up with your nice boar meals and rooms and accommodations and such. Your letter gives you the rooms, so you're set there. Now, the rooms themselves are from converted old gnomish dwellings, so most of them have had a floor knocked out in the middle so that you can stand in it. Orla, you get one that's actually nicely furnished, two-floor little bungalow. But Barrig, you've got a stoop, kind of no matter where you are. Anything else I should know about before we head towards our next day's journey?
I would ask Heather if she's heard any rumors recently, specifically maybe about an elvish princess.
I don't. So Casey the DM does not know if that rumor has hit yet. I believe we are still behind time on that one. So if it would have been going through the area, yes, it would, but I don't believe that has reached here yet. That one can go back to an Alex question because I think they're in a little bit of a time slip right now. But Heather will be happily to say, "Oh, Princess of the Elf. You mean Queen Celine's daughter? Yeah, she's in the area, I think, with her Feathergale Knights. She would at least know that there is an elven princess, but the recent events I don't know if have spread yet." All right. Anything else? Cool.
Yep.
The noise is indeed deafening. Sleep is a little hard to come by, but with enough pillows and effort, you can find it. The place is fairly nice, a little rambunctious, and then eventually you're off and on your way. And we'll flip back over to that road map here for a moment. And then we'll ask for our next of the fateful D20s. Bor, you don't get to be there anymore. For our morning travel, who will be our morning DM or fateful DM die? D20.
I'll do it.
Alex has confirmed. No one is aware of it yet. Oh, what a pristine. Wait.
Yeah, 20.
Where does 7 come from?
I'm not sure.
You sure you're not sure? Okay.
That was there earlier.
Okay.
I don't know. It popped up randomly when we were in the tavern.
No problem. All right. So long as the 20 is the 20, then what a pristine morning. It's nice and bright, and the pounding headache goes away the further you get from Tumblestone. So the Gnarley Forest here, you could tell that the work on the roadway was very rough and rushed in the area you were traveling here. This part was a little more considered. It looks like they either had better tools available to them or were taking their time a bit more, and it moves around the trees rather than through some of them. Just a little more respectful of the area. Nice morning. Travels on towards midday. And unless somebody has something they want to do in the morning, I'll just need to ask for the next of our fateful D20s.
I'll roll it, I guess.
Okie dokie. 13. Another good afternoon into an evening of travel. You feel that the wood is just watching you. Orla, you maybe notice it more than some of the others that, the squirrels that were kind of like friendly, a little bit casual with you down south, now that they're up here, they're kind of just watching you go by, like watching, judging, generalizing. Um, they just have that attitude to them. Occasionally you see a rabbit and the rabbit's just like got one ear like down cocked, just like you all. But no trouble at the moment. As you finish towards your day's journey, you come upon the Fey Woods the Fey Queen's Wood stop, and there you meet Dame Livy and Squire Keyjo. We're running a little bit behind due to Boar shenanigans, so we'll fast forward some of that introduction to that. It is a small wood stop. There's a little kind of lean-to built up. You can see that there's been work going on, but very considerate of the forest itself. It is built in amongst the forest rather than a clearing that has been cut. They say, thank you for coming. We look forward to your success. Did you get all the information that you needed from the writ that we sent, or were there any questions? And addressing you as both the dame and squire, husband and wife, both appear to be Knights of Luna, sigils on them. Good-looking couple if you're into elves.
Just like a direction that we want to go.
Well, it's about a half a day's journey, almost due west, and they give you kind of the layout there. You're going to be staying between these two hills. At some point in the past, water flowed in that direction to what was maybe a lake or possibly even a reservoir, and it didn't drain properly after the Black Dragon left. But really can't miss it. Just don't crest this hill, don't crest that hill. Travel for about 4 to 6 hours, depending on your speed, and you'll arrive at a rather curious-looking lake. The stone there is stacked in an odd way, and there we've been told slimes have been breeding and causing trouble for the local wildlife.
And my lady dame and squire, first, thank you for entrusting us with this task, and we hope to prove worthy. Perhaps if you have any advice on what we can do when we're facing such dangers, because in fact, all of our party, this is new for us, fighting slimes and oozes. So if you can offer any advice, what kind of fighting tactics we might employ when facing off such a danger. And Second, perhaps when we return from our task, I'm very interested to learn more about the knightly order of the Knights of Luna. Perhaps we could, if you're willing to share, I'd like to learn more about your order.
And the dame sort of says, "Oh, of course, and I look forward to being able to talk at length once, and you'll excuse me for saying, once the peoples of Hommlet have proven themselves, and that their adventurers do not share the rapacious tastes or hungers of those that came before into this forest. Our queen is quite upset, but there is need for moderation." The squire sort of says, "With the slimes, you want to have extra weapons. Um, some can dissolve metal, some can dissolve wood. So carry a few extra. Cheap, if you can. Magical, if you can afford it. But have, an extra club or staff to hand. Mind your feet, and I think you'll do okay. I don't think I've fought one myself," and they kind of look between each other, "nor have I. No, they're things that we hear about from adventurers, but don't see too often in the knightly orders. Slimes don't really take the field of battle. They're nuisances of a sort, but they can become more problematic as time passes."
What do you mean, mind your feet?
My oh, mind your feet. If you step in one, it could dissolve your boots.
This is the first I've heard of it dissolving metal, so my weapon, I only have one. It
No, you
delivers
may wish to pick up
woodling.
another. We don't have much here, but I'm sure the wood could give up a limb or two to find you a quarterstaff. Of course, don't take anything from the wood that is not offered.
You mean we should make a weapon from dead or fallen wood, not to cut anything?
Uh, yes, it would be best if you worked with those who knew the wood well, rather than making that decision on your own. Some have been um, overly enthusiastic in their determining of what is a dead tree. And she sort of heads off and speaks to some other people, and they come back. We can prepare some clubs and quarterstaves for you if needed.
That would be helpful.
Sure. And the party, a little bit of time. Some of them are, just we have this one here, so here you go, and others are more freshly hewn. But it's reasonable quarter staves or clubs. Now then, is there
Is there
anything
a
else? Oh, go ahead.
is there a place here that you would like a flower bed?
I'm always interested in the growing of flowers, though my husband, he's like, what type of flower are we talking about?
What type of flower would you like?
Well, I've always wanted to see a blah 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 blah, blah, and he names a flower that's only known to grow in certain places.
Uh, I
What?
will pull out my staff of flowers, and at his direction where he would like it, I will grow that flower with my staff.
He's like, my goodness, that is handy. A bit of a pity it won't last too long, but still, I never thought I'd see one. That's quite wonderful. Where did you obtain that?
I was given as payment for a adventure that I went on.
Huh. Should you ever decide to part with it, I would be interested in buying it from you.
I will keep that in mind.
Of course, if you should come across another or others who have access to it, do let me know. It isn't good to go about willy-nilly just growing flowers from strange places, but the ability to create one for seed would certainly be helpful.
I can do 9 more for you if you would like.
Oh, and he's sort of like goes over and pulls out what's obviously a spell book. Bonk. Gets down to and starts going, could I get one of the and that and you he's like, it's just phenomenal. He takes them, puts them in pots, and does things that makes plants grow, which I am very bad at personally. So whatever the things are you do to plants, he does that.
While you're doing that, Orla's going to kind of take a look at the staff and be like, so you're just pointing at it and it's doing that. That's what's happening?
That's magical, yes.
Well, that's something that's pretty nifty.
That's very thoughtful of you, Tolgorn.
Yes. Splendid. Oh, I had forgotten to ask. Sorry, the flowers distracted me. Will you be staying the night and setting out in the morning, or do you wish to approach under the cover of darkness? I don't know that it matters much to slimes, but it might matter to other things.
What do you recommend? I would think walking around in the forest at night would be kind of spooky.
It really isn't for us. And he sort of like gestures to his eyes. It's sort of our thing, but with your party being of varying heights, I wasn't sure.
I'd prefer to travel in the morning. Fortunately, I have no such gifts to see in the dark.
Well then, let us set you up with a nice place to stay. And he gestures to basically a little lean-to. It's got a little bit of a raised platform and enough space for pallets, but you won't get wet. Do please rest. When should we wake you?
Probably early.
Excellent. We will do so. And if you've never traveled with elves before, you get to enjoy that elves don't sleep. So all night there's just a pair of elves looking at you, watching you sleep. So, aside from that particular moment, the next day dawns. You are given instructions, reminded about the hills and where to go. You're re-equipped with your clubs and your quarterstaves, and allowed to set off. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and switch our map, and then we'll take a quick 5 or so minute bio break for refills of drinks and stretching and such things. And we'll go from there. So thank you, everybody. We'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes or so. And the party will have the benefits of a full rest, starting off fresh in the morning, arriving at their destination in around the just before midday range. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. Just a second here while I make us invisible. Invisible us. Go. They can't see us, but they can hear us, so don't say anything naughty. That'll work for the moment. Hey everybody, welcome back to 20 Sides. Hopefully we've got the audio and such going good. And we are coming back into our community campaign. We've got a fresh batch of adventurers that are working to deal with a slime pond. At the request of 2 of the Elven nobility, they have traveled 4 to 5 hours west-ish into the Gnarley Forest on the far side of the river. As they traveled, they reached the point where the land dropped away pretty suddenly, and they can see and smell the bog down below. And kind of looking over the area, you can see that this was probably fairly flat not too long ago. A large amount of loose dirt and vegetation has been swept southward, creating a bit of a dam or barrier there. You can see that there are a number of fairly sizable trees that, when the ground became saturated, their roots gave up, fell over, and swept away. And then more debris and more dirt had dug down, and now they can see probably further down than the elven nobility would have thought they could see. They were talking, it's going to be a couple of feet deep. This is 15 to 20 feet deep before you even hit that kind of second ledge down there. So what has been uncovered here was not described to you. This is a bit new. And what they do see is a very large skull, or something that was carved to resemble a skull, a very large sword, or something carved to resemble a sword, and a very large hand, bony digits. Moving about in that marshy area below, they can see two skeletal figures. Those skeletal figures are holding an odd sort of spade-shaped weapon, perhaps, but they're using it to dig with. And they are digging down into that marshy ground, getting big clumps of vegetation and dirt, and then carrying it away to the south and sort of shuffling it off. It looks like they're trying to uncover whatever this whole area is. Schwubadorp, it could maybe be friendly. And Percy, yeah, that gem that's glowing over there is very tempting, even from this height. Looking down there, you can see like a little bit of fire flickering behind a green gem set into the hilt of the sword. Now, as the party's approaching, I'm going to ask for a couple of rolls. I'll ask everybody to pick a different skill and roll and tell me kind of what they're looking for, or the same skill looking for a different thing, just sort of as what is your most interesting thing that you want to focus in on as you come up here. Examples might be perception to spot creatures, survival to look for tracks, insight to figure out what the skeletons are doing, things along those lines. What might your characters want to know as soon as this tableau is available to them? Who'd like to go first?
Insight on those skeletons.
Insight on those skeletons. Swidgen wants to know what the villains are up to. Swidgen, how about an insight check? Ooh, that's a pretty good one. So Swidgen, they are not quite mindlessly, but certainly inefficiently excavating the skeleton. So it looks as though they are planning to dig till they hit bedrock. They seem somewhat unaware of their situation. They just plow into the water where just by taking a step to the left, they could have walked on dry land. So not doing a great job, but they probably have a lot of time. Who else is looking for stuff?
Well, Tolgorn is going to be looking for a way to get down into the hole
Sure.
safely. I could give you an athletics or perception.
I would say either of those would be good to spot a good route. You got it. You would say that the fastest way down, you could definitely clamber down right here. Plenty of handholds, no problem at all. A little bit slower and kind of an ankle breaker, you could walk your way down over here. So as far as a walking descent coming down this way from the north, you could definitely do that. But there's plenty of handholds for you there. What you wouldn't want to do, not this area here. You can tell from the rubble and the cracks, it's just a little too risky. Too much chance of one of those slates of shale coming at you. Orla,
Orla wants to do a survival check to look for, like any kind of traps that we might be finding going down or
Sure.
down there.
Go ahead and give me your survival check there. 7. Not fantastic. So checking it out, you can see that a number of creatures have gone down that path that Tolgorn sort of pointed out. That seems like the way to get to the water. And that seems fine.
That jewel, I really think that I could get that out if you could get me over there, Tolgar. We could all be rich.
Could all be rich. Is that like a perception, investigation, sleight of hand to see how easily you could get that jewel free?
Well, I'd have to get up there first. So
I mean, you could eye it from here for an idea.
okay, perception then.
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception check. So from here, the jewel looks like it is wound into the hilt, possibly with brass, bronze, copper, some metal. So you would need to bend that metal away, but you've got shiny steel, and you could probably make that happen. It doesn't look like it's in the hilt, it's attached to the hilt. So yeah, you could get that off. Nice green, glowy, flickery gem. Big as your
But
arm.
there's supposed to be slimes down there too.
There
And
are.
at least 2 skeletons.
And 2 skeletons moving about.
We'll probably have to deal with those first.
Yeah. Who else is doing a thing?
Garrett's he's troubled by what we see here because this was not mentioned to us at the wood stop. He's trying to understand maybe anything from his background or what we might have heard, stories. Is this a natural giant in this sort? I mean, this was a being at one time, and maybe can we discern something about the nature of it based on what we're observing here?
Yeah, I would say either nature or history would work to that.
Neither of those are my strong point, but we'll see.
But sometimes you just want to know. So, thinking back on history, you know that there have been colossal beings, in the ancient days. You also are generally familiar with that there are magics that can make things bigger. Likely, this was not a plain old, just Jeff the big guy. This was something done intentionally to a scale on a gigantic size. It was likely buried or felled here and then capped off, and this rise and quick fall of the water from the black dragons has caused that burial dirt to be swept away and some of the bones to be lifted up.
Well, we might want to think twice before we just try to remove this gem. Also, Barrick, for all we know, it has some influence over what we're seeing here.
Yeah, it's influencing me to become rich.
Well, I've seen a few gems in my day, and they don't normally glow like that.
I'm sure that's just a trick of the light. It'll be fine, Tolger. But, like I said, first we'll have to deal with the skeletons and the slime. Also, who's controlling the skeletons?
Yes, that is a concern.
Gareth, do you have the ability to turn undead?
I'm not. I don't believe yet I've developed that proficiency. Lord Heronius has not seen it. I've yet proven myself worthy to receive such gifts. But perhaps between myself and the Dragon Shadow, we can at least protect the rest of the group.
Most definitely.
Just watch out for me whenever I get angry.
We'll give you a wide berth, Tolgorn.
So my suggestion would be that we take this path this way and then down in to this area and then see what transpires at that point.
Sure. Now, a quick question for the party as you're kind of looking up that little decline there. Does the party happen to be carrying any climbing gear?
Yeah, I was about to say Swidgen would set up. He's got a rope and grappling hook that he would probably set up.
Fantastic.
Right
so
here, maybe.
You got okay, cool. So
I also have a rope.
you got it. So
Look,
rope and grappling can give you advantage if you need to climb out quickly over there or climb down. A rope going down that little decline, just to have something anchored at the top to hold on to, means you can walk down that without a problem. So if you did not have something, or if you were trying to rush up there, it is kind of damp, rocks with moss on it, so you could whip. So be aware. But with a rope and walking down, no problem.
yeah, and if Tolgorn suggests going this way, he would do that. He was just originally thinking we were going to go this way, but whichever way Tolgorn says, he'll comply.
Sure.
Well, we could certainly go this other direction down this rock face. The reason that I was suggesting we go the other direction was because the skeleton was over there.
Well, it might be easier for Orla to go down the walking path with us, and we won't be close to the edge of the water. I think, and the fact we don't know yet what could be down there, we should try to stay out of the water for now.
Does it make sense to use a rope? Did you said somebody has a rope and somebody has a rope and climbing gear?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So does it make sense to use the rope to go down the pathway, but like set the climbing gear up down the steeper area so we could get out if we need to that way? So we have sort of two ways to escape.
Sounds wise.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, he'll set up his grapple hook and rope here then.
And I'll take my rope to help us down the pathway.
And as you're all getting set up, the skeletons just continue trudging along, spadefuls of dirt and debris, then down into the water. Most of it gets washed away. Coming up out of the water, just a little bit left, they make it over to where kind of the edge and all those trees are fallen, give it a little flip, and then start walking back to pick that up. You're able to hammer in, find a good secure route, and so now you've got ropes set on both sides. And now what?
The elves mentioned that we should look for little wood or bone piles that might indicate where the slimes are.
Ooh, they sure did.
Can I have a look around for those?
I believe you could. Let's call a perception on that one. So from up here, you can't really tell what's going on, but there is definitely a couple of, bones/corpses down at the bottom of that defile there. And there's also a couple of animal bodies over here. But you're like, I'm pretty sure that's a tail, but it could just be a bit of marsh grass. It's like a little bit of fog on the ground, maybe causing you trouble.
So maybe be careful, Gareth, when you go down that way.
Yes, that's good advice, Barrick. And I was wondering, as we're making our way down the path, we could see if there's any oozes or slimes in this shallow water close to the edge that we might see that are perhaps hidden there.
Sure, I think a perception check there would be appropriate as well.
I mean, can I make that check too if I'm going with them?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
So you're making your way down to the water and you're looking it over and you know there are slimes in here. 100%. There's bits of vegetation kind of floating around. You got a couple of lily pads, just little bits of movement every once in a while. A little water skater shoots across, frog jumps, that kind of stuff. But despite your best efforts, you just can't figure out where it might be.
Well, shall we make our way down?
Yeah.
Are we all going the same direction, or are we going in two different directions here?
I'd advise we stay together.
I would as well. Setting up this rope in this area is a good idea for maybe a quick escape if we need to get out, but still make our entrance over here.
Yeah, Swidgen hung his rope there where you just indicated. So
Okay.
it'll be there for our escape if needed.
Sounds good. So looking down this defile, you've got your little kind of almost stone steps, little bits of moss and such on them. You can see tracks of animals that have gone down and not quite as many that have come back up. You've got your rope as you make your way down. You're like, we know there's slime here, but there's just little bits of green and yellow and bubbles. It could be any of this could be slime. What are we doing? Gareth,
I think we're climbing down.
Gareth's right up to the edge, as is Swidgen.
I think we probably want to make our way over to this area, if you can see my ping.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trying to stay on the dry land.
All right, and I'm going to ask you to hold right there. I think Tolgorn was the first one across that narrow little bit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tolgorn, as you're going across that narrow little bit, a little bit of the green matter starts to move. We're going to back you up just one right about there, because that's when it's going to start to move. But what is your passive perception? You would like it to be better than a 14.
Well, unfortunately, it's a 13.
Off by 1. So you do not notice, and it does get off an attack of opportunity as you try to step away. It tries to smack at you with a pseudopod. Does a 14 hit?
Just barely.
Just barely. No. That will do 3 points of damage and 6 points of poison, so a total of 9 points of damage to you. But now the slime is revealed, and you can be wherever you want to be, right in around that range. But let's go ahead and bring up the turn order. Let's clear off last time's rolls. Ask everybody to go ahead and click their token and roll themselves in, as one of the slimes has been revealed. Now, to the south of you, Tolgorn, you can see that skeleton is still moving back and forth. It doesn't seem to care that you're down here. It's probably seen you, if a skeleton can be said to see anything. But no reaction there. Very good, Gareth.
Whoops.
Who'd I miss?
I could use a reaction on that attack of opportunity, couldn't
I? If you have a reaction, sure.
Form of the beast. I'm using my tail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that gives me a D8 bonus to my AC.
Oh, nice. That I'm gonna guess a 20. Gonna guess you're better than a 10.
I can't click my character. It's off screen for me.
What did I do wrong? Hang on a second.
I think I can't see the top of the map for some reason.
Oh, hang on here. Orla, come back. Nope, you actually managed to get off screen. And how did you do that? I don't know.
I see our name hanging down there, right above us. Do you see it? At the very top.
Yeah, I've never done that before. Good job. Hang on a second. Let me copy you from another place and paste you back in, and we'll have a spare Orla sitting up at the top there. 1 second here. All right, new Orla. Please put Orla where Orla would like to be. And then we got Tolgorn with a 6. Let's get you back on the turn order there.
Yeah, I forgot to click my character.
No problem.
So that 4 that I rolled, that made my AC be 18 instead of 14, so the attack missed.
Nice. Okay, so no damage there. But Gareth, you definitely saw it. Tolgorn, you felt it whipping by. Your tail displaced it, and the others can see now a putrid mass of slime has reared up and tried to strike out at Tolgorn. Berrig, you are the first with the instincts to react. That's a fairly narrow pathway, so only really one abreast there. So plenty of room to move past Gareth, but not quite enough room to like stand here.
Oh, I don't want to get close to this thing. Not at all. So I will whip a boomerang at it.
Sounds good. A 19 is a good boomerang, and that is a hit. How much damage does the boomerang do? That is 11 points of damage. Tolgorn would still be nearby. Tolgorn, did you move away or did you stay close?
I didn't move at all.
Okay, so you are still next to it. Tail deflected, so sneak attack engages, 11 points of damage. And that is a bludgeoning damage, eh? That seems to work just fine. Berrig, anything else?
And if I can, I may step back.
Certainly may. Gareth, just a bit ahead of you and kind of down in the water there. Putrid slime. What you up to?
So Garrett's going to call out a warning to the party. Slime! Look out, Tolgorn. And if just a question, if I go to right here, leaving room for Swidgen to get in there if he needs to,
Sure.
I would still be within melee range, right?
All good.
Okay, so Garrett's going to get up there and swing, understanding that bludgeoning weapons could be more effective. He's going to use his mace.
Sounds good. Let's see it. 12 is not a great number, but it is just a big mass of goo, so you do hit it.
Huzzah.
6 points of damage there. Well struck. Seems to work. Splashes around. It's a stinky fella, though. After you start smacking it, you're like, whoa, not a good smell. Gareth, anything else?
I think that's all I can do for now.
You got it. Swidgen, what do we got?
So I'll take note of the mace and see, does it appear to be dissolving?
No, seems fine. No sizzle.
All right. Excellent. Then he'll ready his dragon's tail. Tetsubo. Dragon's tail!
16 works. 9 is damage. Anything else for you?
No, that's good.
All right. So, like, as you're hammering on this, like, gooey chunks are flying off, bits are breaking up. You're definitely doing damage to the mass, but it is still an intact thing. Orla, what might you be doing?
I think Orla's going to move forward and try to use the slingshot.
Sure.
Okay. So I think I'll come like down to here,
Sounds good.
maybe, I guess. And
Good news. It's a big mass, so 12 works.
oh, good.
5 points of damage does, but it is still swinging about its slimy tendril. Orla, anything else?
That's all.
You got it. Tolgorn, you are starting your turn within 5 feet of a stinky boy. Please give me a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. Oh, and Alex has bought everyone a reroll, so we do have 5 rerolls if needed. Tolgorn doesn't need it for the Constitution saving throw, though. He is all good. Thank you, Alex. For those of you who are new to that, what that means is if you decide that you would like to re-roll one of your d20s and use whatever the re-roll is, you may use them from the pot. There are 5 in the pot. If you think you want to use it, you probably should, because they won't buy you re-rolls unless you're out. So use them or lose them. Tolgorn, it is now your turn. You are not poisoned. What are we doing?
Bonus action rage.
You got it.
And I am going to attack with my staff.
It is a magical staff. I don't know that it's tracked as a weapon, though, so you might need to give me just a regular quarterstaff roll of that.
That should have rolled.
D&D Beyond might be confused.
But it does not. Okay, so...
Many flowers.
You might be able to add a regular quarterstaff to your inventory and click on that or something. I mean, just a suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do real quick.
Sure.
Maybe if it starts sprouting flowers, that would damage it.
Or make it happy.
Or at least make it smell better.
I mean, I see that you guys all tried to, convince the boar not to fight in many ways, but this slime, no mercy. So, where's the lady slime? Where's
it's the cute factor.
The slime treats. 7 is low enough that it does not find slime. Sorry about that. You are raging. You will have swung. Anything else for you, though?
Nope. That will be all.
All right. Now remember what I said about player rerolls. There are 5 of them. No? Yeah?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and use one.
Gotta tempt you people into using these. And 11's not much better, but it is better enough. So you do hit with the 11. Let's see some damage. Oh, 9 is a fairly good chunk of damage. There's not much left of this thing, but it is still swinging. So Tolgorn, as your turn ends, the slime will swing back at you. Trying to get
I was raging, so add 2 to that.
Oh, add 2 to that. Yes, please. Very close, but not quite enough. Pseudopod! A 9 is probably going to miss. And so, Barriget comes back round to you. Slime is kind of rocking. What are you doing?
I'll throw another boomerang, I guess.
Sure. That's a hit. And with that, the boomerang manages to sever it and spread it out enough that you're pretty sure no more of it is animate and it's going to just fall down to the bottom of the pond and dissolve. Everything goes fairly still again. As the slime goes down, you sort of look down into the water. You can see that there's a number of corpses laying underneath the water where something had walked by, the slime had pulled it down and then slowly consumed it. Lots of little skeletons down there. Pristine, but eaten.
Anything of value that might have been in the slime.
Ooh, how about an investigation check? You reach down and root around, but nothing found of value other than small animal bones. So if you have a need for any bones, you have plenty of bones, deer, fox, that sort of thing, but nothing much beyond.
Can I try and recover my boomerang?
Sure. Start patting at the water, trying to get it to come back to you. And so you're kind of strung out right now along that little ledge there. There's a wider open area up ahead of Tolgorn. Skeleton's got its spades full of dirt and has now started trotting back off to the south. What are we doing?
Was Gareth asking a question?
Nope. Gareth, sorry, did you have a question? Oh, hang on, I'm muted. You're muted, I'm muted. I'm not hearing Gareth.
I hear him.
You hear Gareth?
Yeah, I hear him too.
Yeah,
Hang on.
me too.
I thought that might be what was happening because you were both going at the same time. I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't hear him.
Hang on here. Gareth, say something again, please.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay. One
Okay.
second.
Great.
All right. I don't know what I did. Sorry about that. Please,
No worries.
please repeat.
Okay, so they're standing there. This one slime has been dissolved, and they're closer to the jewel now. And Gareth is recalling what Dame Livia and Squire Kijo mentioned. And, could that jewel be a kind of artifact which is animating these slimes? Perhaps it's even the source of the trouble here.
I feel like a religion or an arcana would be your character's way of trying to put two and two together.
Religion sounds good.
Religion sounds good. So, looking over at this sword and the gem held within, the age of this thing, that it is in any condition, this is definitely artifact grade thing. Why a gem and a sword would cause oozes, though, or slimes, that no connection there. But yeah, that's a thing.
So, Togar, are we going to move forward? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we were fortunate and didn't catch you. Should we keep moving along the edge here?
That sounds like a wonderful idea. I'm moving one step at a time in case somebody sees a slime.
You got it. As you're easing your way forward, could I get a quick, your choice, survival, perception, insight from everybody? All right. Orla, I think you're the one who catches the problem, and then I think it's going to be Gareth and Swidgen that sort of clue into why. On these stones here that they just walked past, as you're coming up with them, you can see that there's a pair of paw prints about the size of a large dog, wolf, something in that range, but they're sunken into the stone. You've maybe seen something like that if someone was pouring cement or making pottery and they pressed a paw into it, but this is in stone. The other two, you're like, oh, acid dog. What that means, maybe you don't know, but pretty sure acid dog.
That sounds more dangerous than a boar.
Yes. Has anyone here ever faced such a foe?
It doesn't sound as tasty as the boar was.
I don't know. I like my food spicy.
Could it be lying in wait nearby? We don't see it anywhere, I suppose.
Don't see it anywhere, and that was basically on the perceptions. If you want to kind of hunker down and take another look, perceptions would be the way to find where it might be at the moment.
Honestly, if I was going to lair in this area, it would be inside that skull, because then you could protect yourself from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Do you see anything, Barrick?
Just a lot of water and a skeleton.
And the skeleton just continues to trudge back and forth. But as you're like looking around, you're like, yeah, that skull looks suspicious. And you can see a couple of the spots on the skull where a similar perch was perhaps done, where the hound must have stood for a long time and slowly etched into the bone and the petrified stones. And you can see you're catching little glimpses of movement. Somewhere over here, you're just spotting it through the teeth, through the nose hole maybe. There's a break on the far side of the skull. Kind of layered down there is something a little curious looking. It has the form of a wolf or a hound, but its body is made of ooze. It's slightly translucent. You haven't got a great look at it yet, but boy, if it was going to be an acid dog, that would probably be the thing.
Is it stationary, or is it seem to be eyeballing us, wanting to come over and play?
Currently stationary, but in the way of I'm just waiting for something to come into my bite range.
Perhaps we could attack it at range, those who have weapons that might be able to reach it. Or spell.
I can, I might be able, I can't, I might be able to hit it with a ray of frost. It's a 60-foot range if I go forwards a little.
Sure, so if you were to get right up to the mouth and kind of like lean down and look through, you could probably take a shot, but you'd have to be like pressed right up to the mouth.
I mean, I could try to firebolt it. That's farther, but I don't know. It feels funny to me. That work on acid. Would I be able to shoot a firebolt through the mouth?
You'd have to get up to it. The angles aren't good for you to shoot from a distance because you're kind of shooting from low up and over. So you almost got to put your like body between the teeth and then get yourself up high enough to shoot. Like you're kind of leaning in a window to shoot toward the other door is what you're doing there.
I don't know. Do I want to do that? Does anybody have any other ideas?
I would say that we
bitten in half by a giant skull. Not many. But
I would say that we leave it alone. If it's not coming out to mess with us right now, just ignore it. I think our plan was to make our way over to the gym to see if that's the root of the problems here.
That sounds like a good idea, Tolger.
Yeah, as long as we know where it is, we can keep an eye on it.
Well, I think you guys are assuming there's only one.
Well, one that we see.
So could Orla position herself sort of like, I don't know, like here to keep an eye on that thing through the mouth while?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
So Orla, you kind of hunker down. You've got like a sight line on just like the flick of its tail, but at the same time you're like, ooh, your instincts are kicking in. Like this is how like cats tease kittens. Like, you know, we're doing probably what it wants. but I don't know that you can think of a different thing to do. In the meanwhile, the skeleton continues to trek through the water and back again, across that little island that the hilt rests on. Party, what are we doing?
I'm going to cross the water to the island.
Sure.
I will go with.
Yep. Me as well, and trying to get a closer look at this skeleton. How does it differ from other skeletons we might have heard about or seen?
Ooh, excellent. How about a perception or investigation? Your choice. I'll even accept an arcana. Maybe even a medicine. Anything. Not performance.
About religion.
Sure, we could even do religion.
Or insight.
Not so much insight. We already figured out what they want to do.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So you look at them, and I think you're just so hung up on, are these guys fire cult, water cult, earth cult, or air cult? You just can't see past the problems of the Temple of Elemental Evil to the obvious regalia that they're wearing. You're like, man, that's a strange way to draw a flame. I don't think you got much more than that. As the rest of you head up over to the island there, any skills I should know about being deployed as you slog through the muck? Now the muck is probably a foot to a foot and a half of muck. You know, it's mud and debris and stuff you're kicking up, and then a foot to a foot and a half of water after that. So 3 foot or so deep, but a lot of it's goo. Thankfully, it's not goo that bites you yet.
So Orla's going to say, I'm going to stay over here because that's...
I will protect you.
Okay. Gareth, Tolgorn, Berrig?
Shall we approach the gym?
Yeah, maybe if you guys stay between me and the skeleton in case it decides to attack.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Is I'm going to keep an eye on the skeleton.
As you start moving forward, giving the skeleton a little bit of a berth there, you kick something kind of in that vegetation down there, and you see a little squirrel. It's a little squirrel in a yellowish egg just go rolling down and bloop into the water. So little squirrel in an egg made of a yellowy material. Bloop.
Squirrel inside an egg. That's not something we would normally, like a translucent egg. We can see the squirrel inside of it.
Yeah, you see a little squirrel inside a little like yellowy egg, and you just got rolled end over end. The squirrel was just like in I'm a squirrel pose, and it just blooped into the water.
Can I try to grab it as it's rolling down?
Sure, go ahead and give me a let's call that one probably a dexterity check.
Oh. Right. Dexterity saving throw?
Let's start with a check.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you got this. You're like, I am a squirrel catching master.
Nice.
So you get a hold of it and you lift it up, and it's heavy. Like you were expecting maybe like large chicken egg, large ostrich egg, kind of feel. No, this is like a lump of stone, and as you lift it up, you're like, that's amber. It's a squirrel in amber. A squirrel in an amber egg.
Put it in my pouch and call out to Orla and say, I found something to show you when we get back. Odd. And the skeleton's still ignoring us?
Skeleton's still ignoring you. It just goes past as long as you're not in its way, and I think so far no one has been in its way. They take scoops of dirt and start moving it back and then moving it forward, and as they get to the little the sword, they just kind of step up and over it, lose a little more dirt, and continue their little path. Now, hang on. Everybody freeze for a moment. What were you about to say, Gareth?
I was going to say, can I employ divine sense here to see if I can sense any other undead aside from the 2 skeletons we can see?
Sure. Go ahead and bring up Divine Sense if you don't mind. If you just click on that, that'll give me the info. I don't think anything but the skeletons will trigger, but I'll double check. Strong evil, celestial fiend or undead, So you do detect the 2 skeletons as being undead, but nothing else as undead, though that gem is definitely something. It's not. It's not. It's not on the same wavelength as you are. So the gem is registering, but not as quite evil. Just different. You would say probably one of the extraplaniers that might show up like a celestial or a fiend, but you're not sure what's really going on in there. But something else has happened. Barrig, as you kind of hop up on the blade of the sword, and as you do so, you give a little stomp. It is stone. It is a very sharp stone in certain spots, but a stone blade. As you reach the top there and look over the other side, a small wave of squirrels, rabbits, and other woodland creatures is rolling towards you. It is encased in sort of a yellowy jelly, and each of the small animals seems to be frozen in classic "I am a woodland creature" pose. So there's a kind of a woodchuck with its head down. There's like a squirrel, like "Hey," and they're all being carried forward in this rolling wave of yellowish material that is coming towards you. And so we're going to ask everybody to go ahead, click on their tokens, roll themselves back into initiative. As Barrig has sprung a trap. Caps lock and shift key are not the same key. Orla, as Barrig sort of sees that happening, a little commotion happens there. You can see that the Acid Hound has shifted its stance a bit. It's gone from "I am waiting" to "it's happening." Gareth, what are you doing?
So seeing this ooze start to kind of roll down towards Barrig, I'm going to try to grab him and pull him back towards me off of the blade so we can get back and out of the path.
You got it. Barrig, would you like to be moved?
Sure.
You got it. You may move Barrig up to half of your movement, basically doing that as a grapple action to get a hold of him, and then moving half movement to move. As this yellowy thing starts womping towards you.
Looks like a hippo. A little bit.
Woodchuck or the beaver sticking out in the front there. He's like, "Help me!"
And so.
Okay. So I think that's 15 feet approximately from where we were. So.
Sounds good.
And I think since that was my action,
yep,
that's all I can do for now.
You got it. Orla, the Acid Hound is about to pounce, but it hasn't moved yet. What are you doing?
Can I see like what it's looking at, which direction it's heading?
So it looks like it's probably going to spring out to the south and then head towards where that other ooze is. Like maybe it was waiting for a companion or something to happen. Um, Maybe it's an opportunist, but it's definitely gone from like I'm waiting patiently to I am about to lunge.
Huh. So I can't do anything to reach across to the gem island there.
So you can jump in and kind of swim it if you like. If you want to, you're gonna get wet, but
You could hold your action. You could hold your fire until it gets in range when it's exposed.
Yeah, I want to try to cover the acid dog, but I don't think I have a good shot at it now.
Sure. So if you wanted to cover the acid dog, probably the thing to do would be to move down to about here. That'll give you your
Okay.
cleanest shot as it comes around. And
Okay.
then you would be holding an action to use one of your spells as it comes around. So as
Okay.
long as it did what you expected, then you would get a shot off at it with whichever spell you wanted held on with.
Okay. Oh, that's what I would like to do then.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll move down to here.
Got it. So hold action, you do need to declare your spell and the target. So you're targeting the ooze dog if it comes into range. And which spell are you going to use?
Uh, I'm gonna try to try to hit it with firebolt.
You got it. Sounds good. So you ready your firebolt, and as you predicted, the primal oozer does indeed dash forward. 1 second, checking my range. As it hits the water, you see that it courses through the water as a natural swimmer. It is not slowed down or hampered by the water at all. It even kind of streamlines out, changing its form to a more eel-like as it zips its way across. But Orla does get a shot off, so could I get a firebolt from you, Orla? Uh, 13 would miss. Would you like to use one of the player rerolls? You should say yes. Yeah! 19 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Excellent. 4 points of damage, and you do find out that fire does work just fine as the ooze sizzles. But you can see that all around where it passed, there is a bit of an acid wake. That is the oozer sliming forward, and that brings us to Swidgen. Swidgen, what are you doing?
Swidgen will heroically leap from the rock that he's on there, and then move toward the ooze. Is this difficult terrain here, or
Wait, part? Where are you at?
Once he starts to this narrow bit in front of the skeleton.
No, only the water is difficult terrain.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's
unless
as far
you
as
can
he can
swim.
get in one move, and then you'll Dragon's Reach. I think I'm going to be at disadvantage. I'm throwing a hand axe at it, but it's range 20-60 and it's 25 away, so I think it's disadvantage.
Yep, disadvantage.
All right, here we go.
Dragon's Reach. 12 will not do. Would you like to use one of those rerolls?
Not on that.
Not on that. Alrighty. Anything else for you, Swidgen?
That's good.
You got it. Tolgorn, what do we got?
Tolgorn's looking around very confused. Tolgorn is going to simply ready his weapon and will attack if something comes into range.
Sounds good. Barrig, what do we got?
Gareth, let go of me. and I'm going to move behind him because I don't want to face this thing that's coming towards us. It's still on the other side of the sword. Can we still see it?
Yes. It is basically like a wave cresting over with lots of little animals tumbling as it goes.
I'll throw a boomerang at it.
Sure.
Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to hold my action till it gets in melee with one of my companions.
Gotcha. And so that is then going to bring up the Amber Ooze, and the Amber Ooze has a movement of not very fast. So does 20 feet reach? 20 feet does just reach. Gareth, the wave of small woodland creatures approaches. As it does, it tries to womp you. A pseudopod reaching out. Ba-dum-bump. Does a 17 hit?
Just misses.
Just misses. Pseudopod slaps on the grass. You can see a little bit of acid coming up as it tries to roll forward towards you. But you had the good foresight to move away. Gareth, what are you then doing?
I'm going to attack it.
Oh, and you know what? That also triggers Barrig being in combat too. So can I get a attack from Gareth and a boomerang from Barrig? A boomerang at a 10. It is a big, massive ooze, so it works. Let's see some damage, Barrig. 22 also works. 10 points from the boomerang. 7 points from the mace. Good hits. It is still a big oozy thing, though. And you are pleased to note that your boomerang and mace do not start sizzling. Gareth, anything else?
I don't think so. So I call out so the party knows we're in combat.
You got it. Orla, back around to you. Acid dog making its way through the water towards the party. What are you up to?
So yeah, I want to warn everybody. I'm going to yell across and be like, "Acid dog coming your way!" And I'd like to try to take another shot at it.
Okay. Uh, 14 is the number we needed, so let's see some damage.
Okay.
Ooh, 10 is a good number. Orla, anything else for you?
I just want to. No. I just want to make sure. But did you hear me? I said acid dog.
So as you are making a lot of noise and sending up a lot of fire, that seems to call someone's attention, maybe an acid dog. And it changes tactic and instead starts swimming directly towards you. It moves fast through the water, slicing past where Swidgen is. Swidgen, it did move within range. Are you holding a melee weapon?
Yes. The
You
Tetsubo.
Opportunity if you choose.
All right.
Seven.
I think I will re-roll that one.
We'll re-roll that one. Okay. We're down to 2 re-rolls in the pot. 22 is much better. 7 points of damage there. But it is not enough to deter the primal oozer as it comes up out of the water. The mouth of the hound opens up, and you get a good look at just how ugly this fella is. Orla, that is now opened up and getting ready to clamp on you, but it needed to use a dash action to get here. So you've got a moment to think about how painful this could be. Swidgen, it is now your turn properly. What are you up to?
Lay down, foul beast. I can't reach it from the dry land. If I move around, would I be able?
You could move around and stand beside. Yep, you could do that.
All right. And bringing it down, and I'll use the inspiration on this swing here.
All right, and 19 is going to work, and 11 is some damage, and you notice something as you hit it, Swigen. A spray of acid came off its body, but was defeated by it being in the water. You will note that it does have a fairly acidic body, though. Swigen, anything else?
I will swing again using a War Priest.
Oh, War Priest.
Yeah. That there. Just putting it up for reference, and then tail.
20 is good. 13 is damage.
And that's all there.
All right. Tolgorn, what are you up to?
7 hells. I thought that thing was coming over here, and I was prepared for it.
It got distracted by all the fire and shouting.
I will move behind this foul thing here.
Sure.
And bonus action rage.
You got it?
Swinging recklessly.
Advantage on the attack, and 23 is a good number. Ooh, 11 plus another 2 on top of that?
Yes, sir.
You got it. 13 points of damage. Lots of little amber-encased animals go flying out of the body of the slime to tumble down towards the water all about you. But the slime remains. Tolgorn, anything else?
Oh, no, I think that's all I can do.
You got it. Barrick.
Action, movement, bonus action.
You got it.
He'll pull out his last boomerang. I think I'm too far away to hit the dog, so I will hit the one that's on our island here.
Okay.
That's the bigger threat, anyways.
A 14 will hit. 7 plus 1 is 8. That is the amount we needed, and so a bunch of little animals are freed, even though they remain encased in amber, and the ooze is no more. Congratulations. But there's still an acid dog just over there.
I'll move over here and pull out my bow and arrow.
You got it. Gareth, what might you be up to?
So we see the ooze collapse into creatures, turn around, see our compatriots are in trouble, and Gareth is going to try to dash.
Sure. Difficult
here if I
movement
can make
through the
it.
water unless you have a swim speed.
No, I don't.
Okay, so 30 feet if you're using your dash.
Oh.
Or is it
30?
25? Yep. Wait, where'd you go from?
I think
So
he
you
had 10
actually
feet
got
of
one
dry land
more-
first.
You get 10 feet of dry. Actually, you could just make it to
Okay.
there. You could just make it to there.
Okay. Even better.
You got it.
Will I still be able to attack then, or no? Because I dashed.
Dash
so that would
action
be it.
used up your action, so you are
Yep.
in melee, but not there.
Okay.
Cool. Orla, what do we got?
I want to move. I want to move away from the acid dog.
Sure. So you can use the disengage action so that you can move away without an attack of opportunity, or you can move away, possibly take an attack, but then still have your action. So do you want to get away without risk or with risk?
So so I wanted to get away, then I wanted to try to shoot it. So
Okay, so in that case, you're just backing up. You're turning around to shoot. It will try to get a chance to bite you as you move away. And as long as that's okay, we can do it.
what was my other option is to attack and then move?
No, or you can use your action to disengage, in which case you are retreating safely. So if you use your action to disengage, you can get away. It does not get an attack because you are disengaging.
Could I use my shield spell as a reaction then?
You could use your shield spell as a reaction at any time. So you can always use your shield spell. As long as you have a reaction.
Okay, so am I understanding that I can move, attack, use my shield spell?
Yes.
But it's still going to get the attack
It'll
of
get
opportunity?
a chance to attack you. But you might be able to get it will roll to hit, and you can decide if you need to use your shield to deflect it.
That's what I should do. Is that what I should do? Everybody's nodding at me. I guess that's what I'll do. I wasn't quite understanding the order there. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna.
So you take a step back. So we'll do it one step at a time. Okay. As you move out of its reach, it will get a chance to attack you. And at the same time, you are firing a shot back at it. So what it's going to try and do is bite you. A bite goes like this. Rumph. It rolled an 11, so you probably don't even need to worry about it. What is your armor class?
12.
12, so you're fine. You step back, it goes, but it misses. You're now free to do what you want, which I think is probably blast it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Can I use my my advantage inspiration?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll the firebolt for to hit with advantage.
Perfect.
Okay.
Uh, 13 is not enough to hit. Would you like to use a player reroll? You get to roll again at advantage. There are 2 player rerolls left.
Oh, I can roll that one at advantage too?
Yep. So when you use a player reroll, you get to roll it at advantage too.
I think I will, since it's the advantage.
You got it. Once more. Better than a 13. Just by 1 and you would have been fine.
Oh.
17, you got it. Go ahead and give me damage. 5 points of damage there, and fire does work on this beastie. And I will say at this point, that is about half the dog it used to be. And so, Orla, you can continue moving up to your speed if you choose, but you have successfully struck it. At this point, it is the hound's turn. The hound looks around and sees that it is getting surrounded. It is not quite so foolish as to trigger all of those attacks of opportunities, but it does. Oh. Really wants to be on dry ground. So it is going to move up here. It is going to shake its body off. As it does, you can see acid spraying in all directions. Not enough to hurt, but enough that the splash might do something now. Gareth, before it gets out of the water, though, you do get an attack of opportunity if you would like one. You got it. 16 will hit. 6 is good damage. But now the oozer is out of the water. It turns and it looks at Swidgen, and Swidgen is going to try and bite you. Swidgen, bite! 20 to hit Swidgen?
Hit.
Swidgen, it will do 4 points of slashing damage, and can I have a DC 15 strength saving throw? That is good. You are still standing. But perhaps not good, as it bit you, the little tentacles on either side just went tuk, 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 into your flesh. And could I have a DC 12 Constitution saving throw?
Oh.
That is a 4. There is 1 player reroll. Would you like to use the player reroll or find out why I'm grinning?
Reroll, please.
Okay. 12 or higher? No,
oh,
not
no.
a 12 or higher. You can feel something has been injected into you, a venom or disease of some sort. and your scales just feel a little loose in that area. You're probably going to want to get that taken care of.
All right,
Swidgen.
I'm gonna do this here. If allowed, reaction,
Oh,
vengeful assault. Hit him
oh
back.
yes, absolutely may use.
Vengeance.
17 for 6, and unfortunately, it is now on dry land. So as you
Oh,
hit it,
whoops! You mentioned that too.
you are within 5 feet and you are using a melee weapon. 5 points of acid damage splashes back at you.
Ah, it
Swidgen, it is now
burns.
your turn properly. It does burn. What are you doing?
Down to 1 hit point. Oh, dang it.
Aren't you a
Okay.
cleric?
Yeah, heal thyself.
You're like, I'm down to 1 hit point. What do I do? I'm like, wait a second.
All right. I think yeah. All right. Was it not withdraw?
Disengage.
Disengage.
Okay. Disengage is an action.
Climbing up on the rock
Okay.
up here maybe somewhere. And yeah. And I guess healing, I don't know. Should I do healing word? Nah. Yeah, just be there, I think.
Okay.
Let's see, was plus takes an action. Huh? Oh, that's an action. Okay. All right. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
Okay. You are up on an outcrop. In the meantime, Tolgorn, what are you up to?
I am going to move
Mhm.
to here. And then I'm going to measure and see if I'm close enough. Oh, I need 5 more feet. So I will move 1 more spot.
Bloosh.
And chuck a javelin at this acid dog.
You got it. 22 is a good chuck. 9 causes a spray of acid, but you're nowhere near it, so you're fine. Actually, 13 plus 2 on that one for the rage?
Should be, yes.
Yeah, okay.
If rage applies to thrown weapon.
I believe it does as long as it's a strength weapon. If somebody tells me differently later, we'll figure it out then. But I'll give you credit for the 11. Tolgorn, anything else?
That will be all for the moment.
You got it. Barrig. Hound's looking a little roughed up, but it's still got them tentacles.
Yeah, and I'm pretty far away from it. I'm gonna hold my action to shoot an arrow at it if Garrett gets within 5 feet of it.
Okay. Held action, shoot ranged weapon if friendly gets within 5 feet, or it gets within 5 feet of a friendly.
Yeah.
Got it. And so, Gareth, what are you doing?
So, having observed the fighting that's been going on, I'm wondering, is there a way that I could try to pull or shove it that would be back in the water? But that's probably going to take my action, so I wouldn't be able to attack it as well.
Correct. So you could use a grapple action that would grab it and then you could drag it back in the water. The grapple would have the advantage of it would have to escape your grapple to get away. You could do a 5-foot shove, which would be the advantage, which would be using an attack action. So possibly a better chance of it working, but then you would not have a way to keep it in the water. It could just walk back out again. Either of those are ways you could do it, but both would take your action.
I'm going to try to grapple it.
Sure. You step up. I will need a strength athletics check.
Oh.
Oh, and the short bow goes off. The short bow is an 11, and 11 will miss. I think we used up that last player reroll, right? Yeah. So no player rerolls left. And athletics of a 6. So you try to grab onto this slimy acid dog, and as you do so, you learn 2 things. One, it's hard to hold a slimy thing. So it does get advantage on this. And 2,
It burns.
it does not burn. As long as you don't pierce the flesh, you're okay. Or break the flesh. Oh, nope, I was wrong. The first part of it is if you touch it. So, yeah, it does burn. Sorry about that. Took a second. It's kind of a slow burn heat. 4 points of acidy damage, but it does manage to wriggle free and stay on dry land. Gareth, anything else?
I still have some movement.
You sure do.
So I'm going to try to get right there. So it's going to have to move past me if it tries to move anywhere.
Sounds good. You block it off, and that's going to bring us to Orla. Orla, what are you doing?
I'm going to wonder how I'm going to shoot through Gareth to get to the acid dog.
So the good news is in 5e, there's not much in the way of friendly fire, so you can just take your shot. No problem.
Okay. I would actually like to use burning hands for this. I think I'm in 15 feet. Am I in range?
You found an exception to the rule. You'll need to step up just a little bit closer so you can shoot around him instead of hitting him with a wave of fire in the back. But other than that, sure.
Okay, so if I can I let's see one.
Sure. So if you move up to right here, you can just lean around him and fire southward.
That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna do that.
You got it. Let's see this burning hands.
Oh God.
All right, DC 12 dexterity saving throw. Primal Oozer, are we good at dex? We're okay at dex. We're not okay at dex. We will be taking all 8 points of that fiery damage. And whoosh. But it is still holding together, though it looks like it is internally boiling at this point. Orla, anything else?
I'm gonna let's see. I think I moved 10. I'm gonna move back again. I'm gonna move to out here.
Wise decision, sorcerer. And so with that, that's going to bring up our Oozer. The Oozer is looking at Grayeth, who doesn't yet have the tentacle marks that it likes to leave in its friends. So Grayeth, bite attack coming at you. 21 to hit.
Yep, that's going to hit.
You got it. That's going to give us 6 points of slashing damage. I'm going to need first a DC 15 strength saving throw to stay standing. And then I'll need a DC 12 constitution saving throw. So you are standing. That's good. And you are not having the problem that Swidgen is having. Speaking of Swidgen, your scales, they just feel a little loose. Just weird. They don't usually slide around like that. But what might you be doing up there on your edge?
I'll strike down Righteous Fury with a Dragon's Reach throwing. Oh.
That will not do it, and we are out of player rerolls at the moment.
All right. Okay. Shoot. Move over here.
Okay. That'll bring us around to Tolgorn. Tolgorn, what do we got?
On top of the rock.
On top of the rock.
Oh, Tolgorn should have been planning while he was not being on his turn. 15. So the water is
Water is difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed.
okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move to there.
Okay.
10, 15. And I will chuck another javelin. And
You got it.
I think I will go ahead and use my inspiration on this one. I have a feeling I might need it.
Sure can. Hey, WJ, thanks for the follow. That's a
Probably
pretty good
didn't need it,
javelin. But go ahead and roll your other die just in case you crit it.
oh, so close.
Didn't get that crit though, but that is still 8 points of damage, and 8 points is good. Oh, hang on. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. 8 points of damage is good, but you are noticing that those javelins are not quite as effective as certain other attacks have been. Tolgorn, anything else for you?
I don't believe there's anything else I can do at this moment.
You got it. Berrig.
Fire an arrow at it.
Fire an arrow at it. 14 is the correct number. 4 plus 5 is 9. Again, not as great a shot as maybe it could have been if it was a blunt arrow. But Berrig, anything else?
I will move down to the slime down here. I think that's where it was, and try and find one of my boomerangs.
Sure. Certainly may. Gareth, you are faced off against the Acid Hound.
Yep. Hurt and burning, but still up and fighting. We're going to swing a mace at it.
Brave. 18's a hit, so at least you're doing damage. 6 points of damage there, and an acid spray comes back at you.
Oh yeah, even from bludgeoning? Okay.
Even from bludgeoning.
Wow. 3 is getting close.
Dangerously close. If only there were healers around.
Yeah.
Gareth, anything else?
No. That's all I can do, I think.
You got it. Orla, what do we got?
I'm gonna try to shoot another firebolt at it. I'm getting mad now. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
A 10 won't do it, though. We are bereft of rerolls. Orla, anything else?
I'm just going to move back some more. Well, I still want to move back a little bit more.
Sure.
Just a little bit.
You got it. That might be a good idea, as this Oozer is looking at Gareth and being like, maybe you're not worth it. And it's just going to try and chomp him. Gareth, bite attack coming at you. An 18 to hit?
Yeah, that's my AC.
That is the AC. So the bite lands, 4 points of slashing damage. And if the blinking red indicator was correct, I believe that will be an unconscious Gareth.
Yep.
All right. Gareth is unconscious. When you go unconscious in 5e, you are at 0 hit points. You will start taking death saving throws on your turns. More damage can be very deadly. But let's see if somebody else can help him first. Swidgen, what are you doing?
Help us on the way. Deploy healing word the paladin there.
Ooh, okay.
See,
Wasn't unconscious for long. Healing word, please roll some heals.
No.
Gareth, you are conscious, prone, and have 4 hit points. And we'll figure out how that works for you in just a little bit. Healing word was a bonus action. Any action for there, Swidgen?
All right. Reach with conviction.
Reach with conviction.
Ah.
That is as an unconvicted reach. Swidgen, anything else?
That's good.
All right, Tolgorn, what do we got?
Okay, I want to make a clarification question real quick before I do anything. If I do damage to the beastie, Gareth is going to get sprayed with acid.
If you are within 5 feet, you would get sprayed with acid. Gareth would not.
Okay, so I'm good to attack then.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move there, and with my tail, I'm going to attack.
Oh, tail's got a 10-foot reach on it, and 18's a good number.
Yes, it does.
Let's see some damage from that tail. Ooh, 8 points of damage is good. It is still a beastie, though. Anything else?
10 points.
Oh, 10 points. Still a beastie, but you did half of its hit points, so you're very close.
Just a point of personal curiosity. What does Tolgorn's tail look like?
It's a lashing, spiny tail.
Nice.
I think he grows it out the back like a rat tail. Yeah, get that.
Oh yeah.
Tolgorn, anything else for you?
Not at the moment, no.
You got it. Barrig, what do we got?
I will throw a boomerang at this creature.
All right, what's your range on a boomerang?
60 feet.
Not going to matter neither way. 12 will not hit. Anything else, Barrig?
I will catch my boomerang.
Catch your boomerang. While we find out if the boomerang is caught, Gareth, what do we got?
So I could use half my movement to stand up.
Half your movement to stand up. You're back on your feet.
And attack.
And attack.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what we do.
Yep.
16's going to hit. 8 is enough. It falls, but as it falls, one last acid spray. 3 points of damage, and Gareth, you at least get to enjoy watching it fall as it dissolves away. Congratulations, party. You have rid the area of the ooze infestation. There are 2 skeletons still marching about, being odd little skeleton creatures, and there's a big wonkin gem sitting right there. As the party kind of takes a few moments and recovers, what are you doing?
Going for the gem.
I had a feeling that was the answer that I was going to get from that corner. And I'm just going to yell across, wait.
Yeah, maybe we should heal up first, at least. You don't know how the skeletons are going to react if you take that gem.
Sure. So, a little bit of resting and recovery time. We'll get through the period of a short rest. And it sounds like you're going to be careful, at least while taking this gem. The gem itself is green panes. It looks as though it should be some form of an emerald or jade, something along those lines. But from inside it is coming a flickering fire. There's something in there providing internal illumination that's glowing outward. It's inconsistent, so it's something more burning than like a continual light spell or a glow. With care, you slowly pry the bronze and the copper bits away, and eventually the gem comes free. As it does so, the world gets a little topsy-turvy. The sword shrinks, the skull shrinks, the hand shrinks. They suck themselves back down into the muck, no longer supported. Everything drops by a bit as somewhere far beneath you a massive rib cage shrinks down to size. Everything kind of resettles for a few seconds there. You look around and you see the skeletons slowly digging themselves up out of the muck, and then they start scooping once more, trying to uncover. The gem also shrinks. It's now about yay big. It's green. It's got a little flame going on inside of it. So yeah, you have a gem about yay big with a little flame going on in there.
So Gareth, as we're resting, he mentions to the party that, right before all this happened, when I was trying to reach out to get a sense of what unholy presences might be here, this gem somehow registered. Don't know what it means to be the source of desecration, but I suggest we show it to the dame and the squire. Perhaps they can help us figure out what happened.
I suppose, as long as they're willing to pay for it.
So, with that, we'll do a little fast forwarding because we're a little bit past our scheduled time. You are able to gather that gem. You check around, but no other treasures obvious in the area. Lots of bones about, and perhaps some of that ooze would have been interested to scientific parties, but you would have had to have captured it more alive and more intact. Unfortunately, many of those amber encased animals got sucked down into the muck as well. Though you did come away with at least one in Gareth's pocket, I believe. So you do have a big chunk of amber, which we will roll some gold pieces for. You make your way back to where the dame and squire await. Report your good news, get your 100 gold payout. That part's resolved right there. And now there's, the question of the gem comes up. Are you showing it to them and being like, hey, we found this, what do you pay for it? Or how is that being presented?
Well, I know that one member of our party is looking for a payday from it, but at first we need to show it to them and present the story of where it came from, what the scene looked like.
I agree, and tell them about the skeletons.
Sounds good. So you start to explain away, and as you do so, they sort of give it some thought, and they say likely that was acting as a power source or a method of keeping that spell causing the skeleton be so large intact. There could be any number of beings trapped within that gem to power it. We are not equipped here to handle such things, though you may be able to sell it or keep it otherwise. It does provide, and they sort of, take it, into a dark spot. It does provide some illumination. So if it would be useful to you in that fashion, it doesn't have any signs that it would break or release otherwise, now that it's been removed from its set. But it is certainly curious, but we have no use for that here. As for the skeleton itself, there are many things in the woods from times even before the elves. We're glad that you've put something unknown to rest, and we hope that the Dell will recover in time.
Should one of us affix the gem to our weapon, would we become colossal?
Unlikely. It's more of a component in a greater casting. And as you mentioned, having stood on the sword itself, it seems that that enchantment was specific to the wielder, perhaps, or part of the construct as a whole. Certainly worth looking into if you wish to investigate it yourselves, but this is beyond our ken.
What of the animated skeletons that were excavating the site there?
Those. We'll have to hire someone else to deal with that. We've heard of skeletons that escaped from the swamps surrounding the temple. I believe those that went to fight the dragon, and she talks a little backstory about they found a graveyard that had been upturned with similarly described skeletons, but that is not what we hired you for. We certainly appreciate you reporting it back to us, and perhaps the next adventurers, or you yourselves if you wish to be hired again.
Well, I can't speak for the party, but for myself, I don't feel comfortable just leaving the undead roaming the dale there.
Splendid. We always look for heroes. We pay adventurers. We appreciate heroes. So that will leave that up in the air for you. You have done a service to the wood, so along with your 100 gold pieces that you are being paid, they do present you with a small brooch. That brooch is woven of grass and clover, little flowers on it. They let you know this is a sign of favor in the wood. Any who are like us of Fey ancestry will acknowledge you for being of the wood and having done a service. Statistically, you can use that for 1d4 bonus on any charisma-based check to a Fey creature or creature with Fey ancestry. So if you need to use a Fey thing, it's effectively a guidance for that. I'll get you the details there. But it's a little brooch saying, good job, you're good people.
Orla's going to say, this is very pretty. I like this. Thank you very much.
Excellent. It is something we've been cultivating over time to show that those who pass through the woods in proper fashion are rewarded and will suffer less the frivolities of the sprites. Splendid. So, with that, I think we're about ready to wrap up today's session. I want to thank the players for hanging out and playing. You'll have a little bit of a journey back home, reasonably uneventful, I hope. But you will get your 100 gold pieces. Those of you who owe the church money, make sure you pay the church back. And we will be good to go from there. So you'll have your sign of favor. We'll have our green gem, and we'll roll some dice for treasures after that. If folks in the audience have liked what we've been doing and would like to take part, make sure you swing by the Discord and come hang out. That's where we gather things for our community campaign, which is how we let folks hop in and play. As we start to wrap out, I'll kind of throw it over to you and put you on the spot just a little bit. Gareth, Orla, how did you like the community campaign since this is your first time in?
I was going to defer to the ladies first, but no, it's been great. It's been wonderful to participate. I've been following for a while and really admire what you guys are trying to do and bring awareness and love for the game to a wider audience. So thank you for allowing me to join you today.
Absolutely. Orla?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. I've been following for a while as well, and never wanted to try this, never wanted to put my face on a screen. So thank you for the patience, and obviously still learning, but I appreciate everybody's gameplay and patience.
Hey, I want to say, like, in everybody I have clips of doing terribly stupid things, and they have way more of me doing terribly stupid things. So if it has to do with rescuing a princess, probably not the person to deal with here. But everybody else, good advice and good work. Thanks all for hanging out. Alex is chiming in and out there. You're all doing well. So thanks for hanging out. Alex, if you see anybody who does have a stream going and we want to pass the raid along, please go ahead and do so. I will be cleaning us up here. Tolgorn, Swidgen, Brerg, anything you want to shout out before we go?
I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. We've had a lull in new players, and it's nice to have some new players. And please come back.
Sounds good. I thought you both did awesome.
That was good job.
Cool.
And I would chime in that sentiment as well. I couldn't say that you did anything incorrect today. I mean, that was more Percy's job, but
yeah. I would like to say that I kind of did that on purpose, just so that you guys knew that bad decisions, you can make them. It's fine.
Yeah, he would be a perfect example of bad decisions. All right, so let's go ahead and close the stream down. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. And ba-bum-bum.